What's going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ.
And I'm Diggins McIntyre.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
Bad boys, bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when we bring your food?
Ooh.
Wendy's commercial.
That way we don't get sued.
Yeah.
You guys, this week we're doing Bad Boys Ride for Die. I've decided to call it that because I'm so mad about the stupid titles.
Nice.
So we're doing that one. The third or fourth one. Fourth.
Fourth. Yeah, this is the fourth one.
Yeah, fourth.
I was going to say, we've done all three, or the three before this, right?
Yes, we have.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can tell this is the fourth one because the one before it was Bad Boys for Life.
Yeah, exactly.
And we are good. Bad Boys complete, so we are obligated to do every Bad Boys now for our lives until we die or ride, whichever one I guess comes first.
We should do that.
Or last.
We should ride. I ride sometimes.
A subtitle that I don't think has any actual relevance to this movie at all.
I mean,
no.
There's a lot of dying talk, I think. One of the characters just chooses or die, or I guess one of the characters chooses ride.
That's true. But Diggins, to your point, we are in Rebel Moon extended cut levels of subtitles.
Oh my god!
Yeah, we should talk about that. That can be part of the news. You guys, they made Rebel Moon extended cut subtitles. Do you guys know what they are?
I saw them. Yeah.
Do you wait, Diggins? You say you remember them?
Well, I saw them, and also I remember what they are.
Oh, what are they?
One, okay, wait, because I don't fully remember. One is like Chalice of Blood.
That is the first one, yeah.
Nice. That's the first one, right? That's
about the second one, DJ. Do you know this one?
This one I don't remember.
Diggins?
This one makes even less sense. The Curse of Forgiveness.
Yeah. What do you think these are about, though? Like, this is just because they're apparently much longer, which is great. They have sex and gore, which the others didn't. Probably the robot does more shit because it does nothing in the other one. Probably a scene where the characters recruit Nemesis.
Can you imagine if there's not even a single second more of the robot in these?
That would be the funniest outcome. Well, how much more grain do you think is in these?
Yeah.
It's actually the second one is like 45 of the minutes of the extra hour is just more slow-mo shots of grain.
I would believe it. It's just more grain.
You see, when they start like blowing up the village, you see the grain like falling through the air as Admiral Noble looks on, a single tear rolling down his cheek as he thinks about all the beautiful grain that's being destroyed.
This poor grain.
I'm gonna read you. This is what Zack
Snyder
said about this. The director's cut is close to an extra hour of content, so I think it's a legitimate extended universe version. So it's an extra hour. Wait, just 1 hour? That's not that much.
Wait, across both?
I don't know.
How does that make it an extended universe version? What does that mean?
He doesn't know. Well, I don't know. That's weird. He says you really get to see a lot. It's just more painted in all the way. The director's cut is a settle-in deep dive, which I've notoriously done throughout my career. I don't know how I got into the director's cut thing, but what I will say about it is that, for me, the director's cuts have always been something I had to fight for in the past, and nobody wanted it. It was this bastard child that I was always trying to put together because they felt like they were a deeper version. And with Netflix, we shot scenes just for the director's cut.
Oh my
so
God.
In that way, it's really a revelation because it gives that second kick in the can for the big fans.
So we're doing it, right? We're going to do the Rebel Moon.
My takeaway from that is that Zack Snyder doesn't know what words mean.
Yeah. I like that he used notorious correctly. You know?
Yeah, that's true. He did. Yeah, he is quite notorious for this.
Yeah. But
I mean, Nando, I know you're maybe have some trepidation at us doing this again, but the fans demand it. They want their grain. All right.
They want us to suffer.
And who are we to deny them that? I want to watch it. I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, I think people will definitely care about it just as much as they cared about the other ones, which was as much as Barbie, apparently. So we probably want to cover it for the culture. Like,
that's true.
Yes,
yeah.
we need to do it for the culture.
It'll probably be some of the biggest movies ever made in the history
Yeah.
of mankind, according to Netflix.
if they charge $1 per ticket, and assuming every person watches it at home with 8 other people, that's like $20 billion. That's how much the first one made.
Did you see, speaking of things that Netflix is doing bigger than anything, and I realize, Nando, you asked for news before we hit record, but it's all coming to me now. Did you guys hear the Joey Chestnut news?
I did.
This is a travesty.
Okay.
What is the news, though? Because I heard there was news, but what is it?
So for those who aren't tracking, so Joey Chestnut is currently basically Major League Eaters, like Michael Jordan. He's won, I think, 15 or 16 of the Nathan's Hot Dog 4th of July Eat Most Hot Dogs competition. He holds the world record, and in other foods too. That this guy, just competitive eating is his thing. His like, I remember SportsCenter once did like an inside of his mouth deep dive to like how he has like extra chewing capacity. It's wild. So he is not participating this year in the Nathan's 4th of July hot dog eating contest because he signed a contract with Impossible Foods to sponsor their vegan hot dog. So this is like stage 1 of the kerfuffle. So Nathan's Hot Dog said, if you're endorsing them, you are not invited. You cannot be a part of the 4th of July hot dog eating contest. And Joey Chestnut said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sticking with my Impossible Foods vegan hot dog that I love so much. Yum, yum, yum."
Why though? They're bad. I
mean, they're good for the environment.
I don't know, man. I mean, well, okay.
Well, they're better for the environment. Let's put it that way.
We have vegetarian hot dogs in this house all the time, but they are not the Impossible ones. They are a different brand that makes good ones. But like, you should get on that train. Whatever they are, Farm and something.
Yeah, but Impossible is the brand that has the money to hire Joey Chestnut.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think per year, Nathan's was paying him $250,000 to do the hot dog eating contest. Like, that was his appearance fee.
That's so funny. Based on what it is, it's just like we paid this guy $250,000 a year to eat some of our hot dogs.
Yep,
that's a lot of hot dogs.
Wait, they get paid just to participate in the hot dog eating contest? I thought they did it for the love of the game.
Yeah, it's a standard like appearance fee that like all these famous people have, right? So now how Netflix is getting in the game is Netflix, I believe on Labor Day, is having a Joey Chestnut v. Kobayashi. Kobayashi was the previous kind of hot dog eating champion who was doing this, and then he kind of fell out of it for like reasons, but him and Chestnut never went head to head. So Netflix is like, well, we're doing Tyson, Jake Paul, and now Joey Chestnut's not doing this. Let's do Joey Chestnut v. Kobayashi. So that's happening on Labor Day because Netflix like cannot get out of its own way to put on things that in theory like maybe sound good on paper, but I don't think anyone wants to watch. I don't think like Joey Chestnut v. Kobayashi, much like Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, I don't think anyone wants this, but they will watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I know who wins these every year, and I never watch them. I thought Kobayashi retired this year.
He did.
Specifically because he was like, if I eat another hot dog, my doctor says I'm going to explode or something. And now he's doing it, but on Netflix.
Yeah.
Apparently it just meant on the Coney Island one, then that won't make me explode.
Yeah, I have to wonder because he did say that. And I'm wondering if Netflix just offered them both an insane amount of money. I don't know if Impossible Foods is involved in this. There's like very few details, but
yeah, maybe they're eating vegan dogs so he won't explode.
And like Kobayashi's like cool with that. I don't know.
You should eat the good ones instead of those ones, but hey, that's just my opinion. But I think, what was I gonna say? They're both like, gonna explode from hot dogs and stuff, but also like how many there's a record for how many you eat, but can you eat more of one than the Nathan's ones or something like that? Like, are there
like certain vegan hot dogs?
Yeah, kind of like the Yankee stadiums of hot dogs, where technically the home run is like way shallower in certain parts. So you could hit a record of 100 because these hot dogs are just made of mostly air.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing with like the Nathan's hot dogs. The record is for like the Nathan's hot dogs, right? Like, and I think these things were always like per food and in a specific whatever category.
Yeah, I mean, there's not like a standardized hot dog size and shape, so it would have to be for a specific brand.
So yeah, I mean, I think it would be good for Impossible Foods to have them do it, and then maybe Kobayashi won't die. It still is like, though, we don't need hot dog eating contests. It's also weird that that's like a 4th of July
How
thing.
dare you?
Like, what is it about, like, America's birthday, let's shove hot dogs down our throat and just, see what
Do you
happen.
really question that, DJ? Do you really need an explanation?
I just like all it's saying is that America is glutton. That's the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. That's
Nailed
fine.
it. Got it in one, Nathans. You've summed us all up.
Yeah, I don't know what you're missing here.
All right, fine.
I would
Looking
say
for some more nuance, but okay.
Well, the thing I think is weird is that it's hot dogs specifically. Like that is, we've decided that that's the hot dog is the one you eat most of.
Well, because 4th of July is a grilling holiday, and
Right.
a hot dog
Right.
is a classic grill food.
But why not hamburgers? Big time.
Ooh, is there a hamburger eating contest?
Because a hamburger you have to actually like bite and chew. A hot dog you can just slide right down the gullet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know like Joey Chestnut doesn't chew the hot dogs, right? They dunk it in the Gatorade, and then they just like get that mash into their mouth, and they just shove it. And like,
Pretty sure he chews the hot dog. Does he?
No,
really
man,
not?
he's talked about this. Like, it's. Hold on.
Pretty sure Kobayashi chews the hot dog, and I just don't see how that works.
Well, because they dunk it in like the liquid, right?
I thought that was the
That's
bun that they dunk in the water.
Yes, that's correct.
Is it the whole thing, or oh no, you're right. It is.
I'm
the
pretty
bun.
sure they just take 2 hot dogs, line them up, shove them in their mouths like a wood chipper, and then do but they eat it, they chew them, the wood chipping.
Yeah,
functions.
they do like the Scooby Doo thing where
Yeah.
they just take it and they like their mouths like start up like a motor and it's just completely eviscerate the hot dogs.
Yeah, I guess it's not chew in the sense of like, oh, I'm taking bites. It is more of like just like a wood chipper.
You know, it's
just
safe for them. It's like a fine glass of wine.
I don't think Joey Chestnut has tasted a hot dog in decades.
Yeah.
What do you guys think would be the worst food to do like the competitive eating of? Because there's tons of these. There was a show, I think it was on Food Network or Travel Channel, Man vs. Food.
Oh,
where
yeah.
he would go to different parts of the country and do whatever their stupid challenge was, whether it was like a spicy challenge or a time challenge. Like,
Another
I wonder what like the
time, a guy quit those because he was like, the doctor said my stomach's going to explode if I eat one more of these things.
right? But what do you guys think is like the worst one of those? Like, I feel like for me, it's like ice cream. Any of the ice cream ones, like I take 2 bites of ice cream and I'm like, I'm done. But these guys, like anything that's dairy, I feel like that's just like terrible. And of course, like you're not having a good night.
Yeah.
It's not. So that's for me. I think like ice cream, the mega sundaes, like I think that's the worst of these kind of
I'm trying to
things.
think of a food I eat that I always feel bad after I eat. Like, but I continue to eat it or something. Like, I do think there's certain things from McDonald's and stuff that just, if I ate 20 McNuggets, I think my, stomach, it would like cement in my stomach. So that'd be pretty hard to eat. But, I don't know. I'd like to see per volume, just like cotton candy,
Ooh,
get a
yeah,
truckload
that's a good
of cotton candy. I want to see one man eat it all. Cause you maybe could. It'd be kind of fun.
I mean, you'd probably feel pretty sick afterwards, but yeah, I mean, you can eat so much cotton candy because it's just sugar that dissolves in your mouth.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, here's what I want. I want the everybody. Well, like, okay, so this part wouldn't work. Well, let's pretend it would work. You would dive into a kiddie pool, but like actual size pool, just filled with cotton candy, and you just have to eat as much as you can in a certain amount of time, because that would really look like what Scooby Doo does. It'd be pretty funny.
Guess who owns the hamburger world record?
Kobayashi.
No, Joey Chestnut.
Damn.
He ate 103 Crystal Burgers, KRYSTAL, in 8 minutes in 2007.
Is that a hot dog brand or like a hot sauce brand? I don't.
Crystal Burger. Crystal Square Off.
Oh no, I guess it's a fast food chain.
Yeah. Love this, by the way. Kobayashi, Chestnut, Kobayashi.
They're the only 2 people in the world who are good at this.
So they're like White
it.
Castle burgers.
Ugh.
They're small.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? That's one that if I did it, it would be bad. So, for sure.
Now there's the Big Daddy Burger. This is a 9-pound cheeseburger.
That's so many
That's
pounds.
Sonia Thomas ate in 27 minutes, and that's the record.
I mean,
jeez,
it's probably more than I could do.
I mean,
So
think
good for
about the
her,
size
for
of
him.
a quarter pounder, and then
36x that.
yeah. I mean,
Oh boy.
Oh
Okay,
my gosh.
real quick, I looked up Sonia Thomas because I was curious.
Okay.
She is known by her nickname, the Black Widow, and the leader of the Four Horsemen of the Esophagus. Yeah. But so she is 56, which
oh my god,
I guess this has been going on for a while. But
I feel like competitive
yeah,
eating is one of those things you don't really age out of.
and it seems
Yeah,
like
that
they
too.
have a women's league of these, of the hot dog eating
Right.
contest specifically, and she won that in 2011.
Okay, listen. I understand for some sports, like there being a distinction between like men's leagues and women's leagues. There's no way there's an inherent genetic difference for eating.
I don't know. I mean, I guess there is.
Yeah. I don't know.
I've never looked into it.
Yeah, I don't feel like I would be an authority on this, but yeah, but like some of these it's weird because some of them it's not per gender. Like it's just like she has the Big Daddy Burger record, like there's no male version, so maybe it's like by sport. She also has the record for the thick burger record. She had 7 3/4 pound burgers in 10 minutes. So
yeah,
I guess like burgers are her zone. Actually, that's a lie. She has a lot of records. Mince pies, buffalo chicken tenders, deep fried okra. Oh my god.
She has 80 chicken nuggets in 5 minutes. That's crazy.
That's so many nugs.
Yeah. How about this? Oh man, this is crazy. 44 lobsters totaling 11.3 pounds of lobster meat in 12 minutes. So that's about a pound a minute. It's pretty good.
How's this? 7 3/4 pounds of turducken in 12 minutes.
Ugh.
The hell? God.
At a certain point, it's just like if the stomach is a bowl and I blended it all up, like, would it be hard to fill the bowl or would it come out? Like, it's not like competitive eating. I feel like it's a skill the same way that, like, I don't know, like, how would you describe this? I don't know, but it does feel like once you come up with a technique and it's just like, do it until you're done.
And then, it's also like one of those things where it's like someone figures out the optimal technique and then everyone copies it. Like, was it pole vaulting where like some guy figured like, oh, go over like leaning with your head or whatever. And then like everyone does that now where it's like you arch your back to get over the pole. But for a while it was people did like a stand. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
I do. Yeah. There was that commercial that said it in that one thing and they were like, we are different, Citibank. We thought differently, like the guy who pole vaulted.
Citibank took the pole vaulting guy and made a commercial.
No, one of these it was one of those commercials where like it was a company trying to say how innovative they were, and the whole beginning of the commercial is just them describing like there was a man who thought about pole vaulting and reimagined it, just like we've reimagined the Toyota, like, you know. So it was one of those, but let me Google it. But yeah, this existed. I mean, and Kobayashi is the best example of that because he he reinvented the hot dog eating, which is pretty cool.
How old is he? So Kobayashi is
probably
46 years old.
Oh.
All right. I thought he was older than that. And then Joey Chestnut, I think he's still in his 30s. 40. Oh no. Okay. So they're only 6 years apart. I was wondering, like, is the Kobayashi Joey Chestnut like a weird version of the Tyson Jake Paul thing? But no, they're way closer in age. So, oh man, I wonder if you could bet on this. Should someone like take money on Kobayashi?
Sure, you can.
Maybe Kobayashi's got a shot. I mean, Joey Chestnut's gonna win, but like, man, damn it, Netflix, I've talked myself into this being interesting, and I'm upset with myself.
Fool. You've fallen right into their
win
trap.
every time. Yeah, they win every time.
Yeah, I cannot find this commercial, but it exists. For it. Yeah, there are a couple of commercials just using pole vaulting. But, I guess okay. Do we know what this guy's name was? Who figured out pole vaulting?
Absolutely not.
I'm gonna Google this.
Is it even like a pole vaulting? It's not.
Yeah,
something
it
else.
is pole vaulting. Pole vaulting pioneer. I mean, I remember this commercial so vividly too. Like, has totally happened. Frank Foss, maybe. Anyway, while people enjoy this,
Yeah, this is perfect.
But okay,
Everyone
so
loves this.
other story. Pixar is dying, you guys. It's all over, baby.
Oh no!
Yeah, and you know what? They just signed on to direct Blade. Oh no, that means they're definitely done. But no, they're Pixar's out, baby. We kind of talked about this, but or not, we talked about this, but people talked about this. It happened about a week ago. But the Pixar guy, who was it? One of the main ones, whose name we know, Doctor, I think.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, did an interview where he was basically like, white people only movies, please, or something. And not even Luca. So American white people, right? Please. That's not exactly it, but that's kind of it. Diggins, do you want to explain while I look up pole vaulting history?
Absolutely. So essentially, they were talking about the interview was about how Pixar, their movies haven't been performing well, and especially Lightyear was a big bomb. And now one could reflect on the fact that there was a big pandemic for the last few releases of theirs, and also their best movies of the past couple of years went straight to Disney Plus, and then Lightyear was the big movie theater, risk that they took for some reason. But yeah, so what the lesson they've learned from the fact that they made two beloved movies that didn't make money because they put them on Disney Plus, and then one like legacy prequel thing that nobody liked and didn't make any money, was that those first two things were bad ideas and they shouldn't have done them. The movies, that is, not putting them on Disney Plus, and they need to do more Lightyears.
Yeah. I think if they do a couple more, they'll figure it out. Yeah.
I said, well, specifically what he said, to be clear here, is that they felt that the specific experiences and like personal catharsis that led to making Turning Red, Luca, Elemental, was like, we need to get away from that and make really generalized movies that everyone can enjoy. Which sounds really bad to me, because getting through the general to the specific is the way this stuff usually works, right? You make something about your specific experience that people find commonalities on that, and that's what resonates with them because it feels real. But nope, we need the slop that anyone can eat up. Any old hog can come right up to the trough and just gobble it up.
Nom nom.
Yeah. And
tasty.
I do think it's weird that they don't give any examples that I can see, at least in the article, of recent movies where they're like, this is what we want. They say, like, Luca and Turning Red specifically get called out for being not specific to everyone's experiences or whatever it was they said. But they don't like go like, but the successful one that we did do well with, that's what we want to emulate. Because that there is no example of that. Unless maybe it's this. But then, like, wait until you finish the movie before you do this interview. But I don't know. It's pretty weird.
I mean, I guess we'll see.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Lightyear stunk, you know?
Yeah, Lightyear
it was so bad.
Pretty bad. And I mean, did you ever watch Lightyear, DJ? Because it was only me and Nando on the pod.
Yeah.
I must have, because I remember all of it. I think Michelle and I probably caught up with it. But I feel like what sucks is, like, even if, like, the latest Pixar movies, like, in the, like, all the ones you listed, like Turning Red, Luca,
So Onward, I would say, the other two.
Yeah, right. Like, those, like, aren't bad by any measure. It's just hard because I feel like Pixar was like a hot startup that released the iPhone, and it's like, oh, everyone loves this, but like now we can only iterate on it because like they, I think like the last Coco, fucking tip my hand. The last Pixar movie I loved was Coco, and that was 16.
It would have been so funny if you said something else besides Coco there.
I know, right? Yeah. I mean, like, I liked Luca, but like Coco, I would like put it up there, like Pixar Mount Rushmore. And I just think that there haven't been a lot of those movies in the past, like, oh, we're going on a decade now. So like once you're a company who made your bones on having these like really impactful movies with like big nostalgia that a lot of people love, what do you do when you've converted to movies that are like, that's all right? So it's tough. I guess now you just do slop. More Lightyear. What else can they do? They can do
more Cars.
Yeah, the origin of Cars. Talk about the first car that
oh, they're finally going to do the Cars origin story where we see the post-apocalyptic hellscape that the Car Society developed from.
Or just sell out and make that stupid movie where all the Pixar movies are like interconnected, right? Like just make that, 7 movies. Call it Pixar United or wreck-it
Wreck-it Ralph breaks the internet.
Yep. It's just how all the movies are connected and it's one linear timeline.
Everyone loves that movie, so it's perfect.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably Inside Out's probably going to make money because the reviews are good, which is probably the main thing of these. But I'm trying to think what else do they even have coming out that appeals to everyone. In the same way that Lightyear did appeal to everyone. And that appealed to everyone. We're all fucking astronauts or whatever. Not like little boys who want to do bike races. That's a pretty niche thing. Or like girls having puberty or whatever.
Having puberty and loving boy bands.
Yeah, that's pretty out there. Mm-hmm. Going back in time or going so far forward in time that everyone is dead. That is a pretty, general experience we can all relate to.
Who among us, right?
Yeah.
And also then, I guess spoilers for Lightyear, confronting an evil version of your future self who's responsible for all your problems.
Mm-hmm. So wait, what else do we have on the docket for Pixar? Did we look these up?
Oh, I have no idea.
Right.
I'm sure Turning Red 2
Turning Red 2 probably got canceled. Well, Turning Red 2, where she watches Lightyear, the movie that inspired the Lightyear in the movie that inspired Buzz Lightyear, the cartoon.
What am I talking about? That movie is going to come out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what do we got? Good Dinosaur 2. We'll make one of those.
Yeah, the movie that everybody loved so much that I ever hear anyone talk about it. No, they do have that Elio movie coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, that was the plan, but it's about a person with experiences that don't relate to everybody. So it's
okay. It's about a boy who goes to space and becomes the intergalactic ambassador for Earth. Again, a very universal experience that everyone can relate to.
Oh, cool.
Is the Pixar CEO an alien or something? Ooh. Are they like, movies about space? That's like what we all like, And we need more of those. Because I just cannot figure this out.
And also Toy Story 5. I'm sure we mentioned that, but golly gee, that's nuts.
I forgot they were making that.
So that's cool.
It's not good. Well, I don't know. The new one's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's pretty good that they said this. I mean, Marvel kind of said this too, although I think it was not. I think it was like Kevin Feige. I think it was a Disney guy. Was like, we're gonna go back to making Marvel stuff that everyone can like, and it's just what these movie studios are all doing, as if this, I don't know, it tricks us or something.
Yeah, I get it.
Thinking it's good. You know what? They're doing another Incredibles too, because the second one was so good.
Wait, are they really? Oh gosh.
Yeah, I mean, they're not doing Incredibles 2 again. They're doing Incredibles 3.
Right? No,
they're doing Incredibles 2.
Mm-hmm.
Give it a shot
at it.
Yeah,
write this down.
Run that back, because I don't think they nailed it with the one they did.
I'd let them take a mulligan on Incredibles 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at this now. And there's some canceled projects that are pretty weird. That I kind of remember actually. They were going to make a movie about newts. Remember this?
Get out of here! Are you serious?
Yeah, and it pretty much was the movie Rio. So then they were like, "Well, we can't make that." I do very, very like. Because they had like pictures that came out of that.
You can't do the Ants Bugs Life thing. That would just too much heat.
Yeah, right. I mean, I don't know if Bugs Life is a universal experience they would have liked. They probably would have made WALL-E. What else is kind of more universal to everybody? Buzz Lightyear. Those are really the only two I can think of. Or guy goes to space.
Finding Nemo, everyone loses their kid. That's just it's happened to everyone at least once. You lose your kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's what do you think is the least universal Pixar movie?
Probably Good Dinosaur, right? It's not. I mean, not really. Never befriended a dinosaur before.
I mean, I genuinely think it might be Lightyear.
Perhaps.
Well, like people have gone to space though. They can
That's
relate
true.
to that. Like there are a few of them, but they've gone. So
yeah, but we're not saying completely unrelatable to all human beings. We're just saying the least.
All right, that's fair.
I've heard people bring up the idea that Pixar movies are. I never thought about this before. Well, it's not all Pixar movies, but a fair amount of Pixar movies take like a fun like concept and turn it into business. You know, it's like, what if Monsters was business? What if your toys had managers? What if, you know, your feelings had managers and stuff? And it's very, you know, business focused. So
I feel like the Toy Story one is a big stretch.
I guess so. But then you got Soul. Soul is what if your business had managers? Or your, you know,
what if your business had managers? Could you imagine?
Yeah. What if your business had managers?
Oh no.
They go on news reports and say some bullshit about how that's, you know, a good idea to make all these movies.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb. Yeah, Lightyear's pretty bad.
Yeah. Pixar should fix its shit. And, I mean, well, whatever. We'll see how Inside Out 2 is. And then maybe we can make some more judgments on it next week. News.
Do you guys ever go? I always do this whenever I go to Target. I just take a little stroll through the toy aisle to see what the hot toys are and what the kids love. There's still so many Lightyear toys. No one has bought them. Oh yeah, there's a line in the shelves. At least the ones near me. So that's usually a good sign. But
I do the same thing, but with board games, just to look at the exact same board games every time and be like, yep. Nothing's changed. If I ever need to pick up the next expansion of Cards Against Humanity or whatever the next Exploding Kittens game is, I know Target's got my back.
Yeah. It's funny too, because these are the only Pixar movie since Coco that was not nominated for Best Animated Feature was Lightyear. All the rest of them
funny.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So that's pretty good.
But like, was Luca nominated or was that like a weird year where stuff didn't count? It was? Okay.
Luca and Turning Red both got nominated. Elemental. You know, I do think part of it is just there's other people doing this now on a level that is, you know, like Puss in Boots, Spider-Verse. Yeah, like some of these other ones are just good.
Miyazaki won the most recent one, right?
That's true.
And that's not even like that's like old guard shit, but
I was
you know,
gonna say,
just
like that
still good.
That hardly counts. He wins basically every time he makes a movie.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of winning and making, it's a pretty winnable. You know what? Maybe it's a win Oscars. Maybe
this one, Bad Boys.
This one?
Maybe they'll make that stunt Oscar they keep threatening.
Yeah. You gotta give that to Fall Guy. If it's this year, Fall Guy has to win. That'd be so sad.
I agree with Nando that they should do it and then not give it to Fall Guy.
Yeah. Yeah, they were
biggest middle finger.
Too cute about it. They should give it to, I don't know, one of the other ones. Mad Max probably or something. But what was I going to say? Well, I don't know if you remember this, but I think we talked about this in the podcast a little while ago. Bad Boys for Life, the third one, was the highest grossing movie of that year, which was 2020, to be fair.
Yeah,
but like,
it was a movie that came out in January.
Yeah. So, you know, there's something. But yeah, let's talk about Bad Boys for Ride for Die. This is the hot new movie of the week. Who's the IMDb'sman?
It's a me.
Ooh.
Mario.
That's right. I'm here.
If only.
All right. So let's, I'm doing the IMDb B as in spelling bee. Sorry, I'm so surprised. I never do it. So what is the IMDb B as in spelling bee? Well, it's a little game that we play and everyone already knows it. But for those of you who don't, my two esteemed colleagues here have to guess what the IMDb summary is for Bad Boys Ride for Die. I know you're all wondering, how does IMDb come up with the summary? Well, it's very fascinating. So what they do is they get a bunch of alchemists into a room, and I'm like, wait, alchemists, do those still exist? And in some places, so they get all the alchemists in the room, and they give them all their own little My First Chemistry set, and they say what you have to do is you have to find a way to make a tincture that when someone drinks it, they'll be able to see the title of a movie and say the IMDb summary. And then so they all test on this. They got a lot of test people, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. But the best ones, they get to live in the IMDb halls, but then sometimes they get like mixed up because of labeling purposes, and they don't have a good accounting system. Sometimes the not so good tinctures get in there as well. I would say for this movie, the tincture is confusing. This is so wild. I have to help you guys because it's not a summary. The alchemist that made this, I guess, was drunk and just was like put in different leaves and chemicals together, and then whoever drank it, they said something, but they didn't say a summary for this movie. So oh man.
Okay.
This is tough.
Interesting.
This is really tough.
So what would you recommend we say to you instead of a summary for the movie? A list of
just
know,
any kind of guidance, so we're not just saying anything.
Pokemon.
I would say that the marketers for this movie are like, mwah, perfect. This is, thank you IMDb. You nailed it.
Okay,
that's what I think.
Right.
I think the marketers for this movie just are loving this quote unquote summary. I'm like, I'm on the right thing too. Yeah.
Okay.
This is nuts. So best of luck to you, gentlemen. Who's going first?
I want Diggins to go first because I have an idea, but I don't want him to steal mine.
Okay.
And as the perennial loser, I get to pick.
I think I got it. In the latest pulse-pounding addition to the beloved Bad Boys franchise, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence team up once again to kick ass and take names as the iconic Miami PD duo.
All right, Nando.
The hot new number one film in America, Bad Boys Ride or Die, starring Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, is a classic, action-packed classic full of mystery and sex.
Okay. Neither of you are even close, and I can't even blame you because I shouldn't say you aren't even close. You both have the spirit of it, but the words aren't exactly there. Okay. But you are not to be blamed for this. This is a travesty. I'm just gonna read it so then we can move on to whatever game it is we're going to play.
Okay.
But here's the terrible, terrible not summary.
I'm really excited.
This summer, the world's favorite bad boys are back with their iconic mix of edge-of-your-seat action and outrageous comedy. But this time with a twist, Miami's finest are now on the run. So, I mean, I don't know what happened here. What kind of drunk person was just like, we don't need a summary. What if our game is ruined because now IMDb says we just do marketing now. We don't do summaries anymore.
Or like
we just
AI,
market the movies.
Like they kind of see what people are already saying about it on Twitter and then just go with that.
So we'll have to do one of our famous tiebreakers.
Are they everyone's favorite bad boys? I don't think they're my favorite bad boys.
The world's favorite bad boys. Yeah, that's tough. Can you name better bad boys?
I mean, Chris Kirkpatrick. There's so many bad boys and boy bands that are the bad boys. So them, I don't know, Deadpool or something, Venom. It's pretty good. A lot of bad boys this year. Luca, he went out and did bicycles on the land instead of listening to his dad, who I think was played by Jim Gaffigan. So that Luca probably is my favorite bad boy. But what about you, Diggins? Do you have any bad boy examples?
Sorry, real quick. I got to take a break here.
Oh, right,
it's 3. I will.
I mean, Bart Harley Jarvis, right?
That's a great answer. Yeah, he is a very bad boy.
Yeah, he's the bad boy of the Baby of the Year circuit.
Yeah, I would say he would fuck up Will Smith and Martin Lawrence in this movie.
Absolutely.
That would be, oh my God, they need to, I bet that baby is an actor, probably, right? Like technically an actor.
I mean,
I wonder if like in
yes.
10 years they're gonna go to Comic-Con and stuff as Bart Harley Jarvis, the 13-year-old or something, you know. And if they do, I think I'd be kind of psyched to meet them, but maybe not. Maybe it'd be weird. Bart Harley Jarvis, if you're here, let us know. If you listen.
I mean, you can't be that old. If you're definitely not old enough to listen to this show.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you're a bad boy, so maybe, you know, break the
true.
rules, stay up late, whatever. Also, like, I feel like being a parent, and DJ could probably attest to this, it's probably really hard to keep your kid away from podcasts they're not supposed to listen to. Like, there's no bumpers on this rail. They just, like, you turn the podcast app on and it gives you all of them. Unless you decide to label your podcast as explicit, which nobody does.
Yeah, because nobody wants to limit their reach.
Exactly. I bet a lot of babies listen to this podcast. You know what? And we have several people who have had babies that during the course of the podcast. That I'm assuming you listen to it with your baby until they're like 3, because otherwise you have your baby saying stuff like dog shit to you, and that's not fun.
That's not good.
Like, yeah, before the memories kick in, I think you could keep, you know, mostly nitpicking until. And then after that, it's like you don't know what culture is because you just watch Cocomelon and stuff. So we wouldn't even understand.
You're
what
not watching Cocomelon by the time you're 3. Cocomelon's a like 1-year-old activity.
Oh, okay. So what's 3-year-olds like Paw Patrol? Is that what that is?
Paw Patrol's, yeah. I think that's around the level.
Also, just to update, still no word on the commercial. Nobody knows. I asked Twitter, and they have not given me any good information yet. They also haven't told me what new fitness tracker to buy, so that's another question Twitter has so far not been super helpful on. Well, I think they'll figure out the fitness tracker when eventually.
I don't know. I think we have to assume that you made up this commercial in a fever dream.
I mean, I think I've watched enough commercials over the course of my life that I could. I would just have needed to know that fact about pole vaulting, which I didn't before. Or maybe I did. I don't know. Maybe it's so obvious looking at it now.
I gotta say, I'm questioning if you've made up this little commercial. Like, I wonder if it
didn't you bring it up?
Well, no, I didn't know there was a commercial. I knew that the guy had did it. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
But that's how we learn things in America, from the commercials, you know? So otherwise, why would you know that?
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like we read or like do research.
I mean, I've watched pole vaulting every year at the Olympics, you know, casually, and never once learned anything about it until the commercial got involved. So there's an opportunity for commercials to just teach us stuff. Remember Baby Nut? That was pretty good.
Nut. Oh, man.
Remember about the bicycle of the peanut guy?
Apparently, my nephew will call the new baby in my sister's family Mr. Peanut sometimes.
What? That's great.
And it makes me think about Baby Nut.
It's funny.
It should. All right. Well, I'm glad you guys told us who your favorite bad boys are. But who
are your favorite bad boys?
Oh yeah, my favorite bad boys. The Hardy Boys, they're pretty bad boys back in their day, so I might go with the Hardy Boys.
The Hardy Boys, they weren't bad boys. They were the squeaky clean boys. I guess they were boy detectiving.
They were bad if you were trying to do a mystery and like get it not solved.
Guys, the wrestling Hardy Boys. What's wrong with you guys? Come on now.
Oh, they were bad boys. Okay. Yeah.
Actually, they were the Hardy Boys
with
a Z at the end. So I should have. Yeah, the Hardy Boys is probably my favorite.
I wonder if they ever dressed up like the Hardy Boys. You know,
did they ever solve mysteries?
They came out with like a flashlight or whatever hunched over.
Would have been a good gimmick. Yeah. Like right after putting people through a table, but like, or just do the Tim Robinson. We're trying to figure out who did this.
Yeah.
Did they have a nemesis named Nancy Drew?
Ooh.
See, all these good gimmicks that well, not that they're retired, but I think one of them, I think Jeff Hardy is with AEW, but I think the other one retired. So there are no more Hardy Boys.
This is only the Hardy Boy.
Only the Hardy Boy. Yeah. All right, so that's my favorite bad boy. But you guys got to do some bad boys ride or die trivia. Oh boy. Okay.
Oh boy.
Oh bad boy.
Trivia.
I want to throw out some options for you. Well, okay.
Okay.
The audience has yet to have you two go face to face in the game, right? But
Yeah.
this film would probably just turn into the Will Smith game. But if you guys are open to it, you're like, I'm good with it. But I don't know if it would be as satisfying for this movie since it's kind of a shallow pool.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Will Smith, the other problem with Will Smith is so many of his movies are him. Like, the name is of him.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
point.
then, like, theoretically he has a name, but everyone's just like, it's Will Smith.
I mean, we could try it. It would be, it would be kind of short, but there'd be short games too. And there's other actors in this. You know what? There's actually a couple actors in this.
I mean, we definitely get to pull from Will Smith, Joey Pants,
Yep.
and Vanessa Hudgens.
Yep. Martin Lawrence, if you can name a thing he's in,
Martin Lawrence. Oh, Martin Lawrence. Sorry.
Yeah, Martin Lawrence,
Yeah,
the
the
main
actor,
bad boy.
Martin Lawrence.
The other one. One's not Will Smith.
Sorry.
The one that loves to eat and hates Mondays or whatever. I don't know what it is. It's great. Sorry, besides loves to eat, but it's that.
You forget. Well, if you guys want to, I do have some trivia if you guys want to do that. I really have one trivia, but I think you guys might know it. Do you guys want the one trivia? And if this stumps you, then maybe we could just
let's do the one trivia.
Let's do the one
Let's see what it is.
There is a cameo in this movie of someone who is, I would say, very connected to the Bad Boys franchise. Can you name who it is and what the cameo is?
I think we can do
obvious.
this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, very easy.
Okay, so never mind.
It's Joey Fatone, one of the other bad boys from NSYNC. No, just kidding. Joey Fatone was like one of the good boys, if I remember correctly.
All right. Let's just to prove that we both know it, I'm going to count down. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and after 3, Nando and I will both say who the cameo is. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Michael Bay.
Michael Bay driving a car or something. Yeah.
Credit this Porsche driver. Okay, fantastic. All right, I have another one that I think is.
I would have had a hard time guessing what car he drives because I would have gone through all the Transformers.
Oh yeah, I guess I could have had
seemed
that.
to hate.
Name the car.
I actually recall in the credits he was credited as Porsche driver.
Oh,
so.
Nice.
All right, because I don't want to do the game. Well, at least I don't want to do the game yet. I want to go through this and then maybe we'll do the game. So the Bad Boys, this is the fourth Bad Boys movie, and they've all had various runtimes. Some long, some short, some near, some far. Can you guys give me in order the Bad Boys movies, longest to shortest, and like roughly, like don't give me like the exact time, but like roughly what you think the time is, and then we'll take it from there.
I mean, we can try,
Or just give me longest
this?
and shortest. Let's start there. Just give me longest and shortest, and maybe one of you will crush it, and then that'll be it.
Okay. How do you want?
Just one. Just
okay.
You have to go back and forth.
I'll go
just
first.
give me your list, and then yeah.
I think I have a list. I don't know if it's correct. It's 2, 3, 1, 4.
Okay, so you have Bad Boys 2, then you have Bad Boys
4 Life.
3,
obviously.
Then
Bad Boys.
Okay.
And then whatever this one's called, Bad Boys Ride or Die.
Okay, Diggins.
I had similar but not the same. I had Bad Boys 2.
Okay.
Bad Boys Ride or Die. Bad Boys for Life, and then Bad Boys.
Okay. All right. So, I think I'm just ready to call it. I think maybe, okay. Do you guys want to play the game? Because I have a winner. Because one of you guys got the list exactly right.
Damn.
Yeah. So, I think I'm just going to call it. I think I just want to call it because I think this movie is bad for the game. It's just the Will Smith, Joey Pants game.
I mean, there's
And
other
Vanessa
actors in this movie.
And Vanessa Hudgens.
And Michael Bay.
And what's his name?
I guess you could use Michael Bay.
There's another actor. This is why I'm not saying the actors is in it, but there's plenty of, well, not plenty, but there's a couple people with names. I mean, one more at least.
You know what? The people have demanded it, and I just don't know if I want to do it another time. No, let's do it another time. I don't want to do it with this movie. I'm ready to declare a winner. Let's move on with this podcast.
Right, the other two people in it were Johan Gruffid, who has been in several things. And Tiffany Haddish, I feel like, is in.
Tiffany
Oh,
Haddish.
duh.
Yeah.
Tiffany Haddish is in this.
Yeah.
I forgot.
It doesn't matter. I have a winner. Nando, you won. Congratulations.
Oh, wow. Very
Damn.
good. Yeah, we all know 2 is the longest because it just ends forever. But I kind of had to assume.
The problem is that Diggins, your list wasn't a little off. Your list was way off. So Bad Boys Ride or Die is actually the shortest of the Bad Boys films.
Feels
No,
like.
I did have Bad Boys 2
right,
first,
but-
so I wasn't totally
Sure,
off.
but then you had Bad Boys Ride or Die second longest, and it's actually the shortest. And then so, like Nando said, it's Bad Boys 2, then For Life, then OG, then Ride or Die. So they all come in around 2 hours, except Bad Boys 2 is 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's
The
super long.
movie's so long.
Yeah.
How long is this one? Like hour 45?
Hour
Oh,
55.
like 2 hours.
Yeah,
Okay.
hour 55.
Yeah.
But coming in at the shortest at an hour 55. So yeah, I'm starving the listeners of you two competing in the game. We'll do it another time. All
right.
Because
It's your
this
call.
tiebreaker worked out. Yeah, I'm the judge, and what I say goes. I fly flags in any direction because I'm the
This
judge.
isn't a democracy. It's a dictatorship. It's an IMDb's dictatorship.
Yeah, I'm just mad that the IMDb wasn't a summary. If this is the theme, then I'm out. So
I mean, I imagine, I'm not going to look obviously, but I imagine Inside Out 2. Well, I guess I could look. I would
That's
imagine
true.
Inside Out 2 has to have a summary, right? Like, there's no way. That's like a real movie, not like this.
In the next pulse-pounding installment of the
Yeah.
Inside Out
The
franchise.
sad boys are back. Oh my God, the summary is weird.
Oh,
don't,
no.
don't anybody look it up.
no,
They might change it,
Now,
but I'm
I
going
was
to take
gonna
a
say
picture
they
of
do
it now.
change sometimes, so it might be different by the time we do it.
The game will be to guess what this one was.
yeah, clip it now so you have the weird one in case they do change it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh!
Oh yeah, I got it.
Is it more marketing material? Is it Riley's
Well,
on the
we'll find
grid?
out.
Your favorite Riley is back.
Mhm. Sad, happy, whatever, and then the 2 that got replaced are back, baby.
I don't
With
know
other
if
ones.
Riley from Inside Out is my favorite Riley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's obviously Pacific Rim's Riley.
Riley, yeah, that character from Pacific Rim.
I was gonna say Riley Keough,
Who's that?
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
the actress.
Oh, if we're doing real Rileys, then isn't Boots Riley that guy's name?
Oh, yeah,
That's
it's a
cool.
good Riley. Solid Riley.
I like him.
Yeah.
I feel like there's other Rileys too, right? Riley.
Are we not making
Nope.
Rileys anymore?
No more.
That's it? We stop
must.
making Rileys?
Maybe they all do Yellowstone and stuff that I don't want. You know?
They're all on soap operas, like daytime soap operas. That's where all the Rileys
Yeah,
are.
it feels like a soap opera name. Riley Cogue, that's a person. Actor from Mad Max Fury Road, but
Well, no one saw it, so no one knows that person exists.
that was the first one, or the one before this
Oh,
one.
right, sorry.
But her name was just Capable in that, so I don't really know who that is.
Ooh.
Uh,
Well, Diggins should know.
So
Our
yeah,
foremost expert.
not a great sign. Honestly, like this is the Riley pool on IMDb is pretty low. Although I spelled Riley.
What about John C. Riley? He's a good Riley.
Oh yeah, for
Oh,
sure he's
yeah.
a good Riley.
That's a good Riley.
But yeah, how do you spell Riley?
So is it Riley?
Yeah.
So that's the first way, which did come up with very many people. Is there another secret?
Is there
way?
RYLEY?
No, that didn't come up with very much either.
or
There's
like the millennial parent way, like RILEIGH.
that's probably it.
Ooh.
Yeah, let's look up that.
I ran into this one, when I first brought my son to the doctor. I'm like, his name's Jackson. They're like, oh, how do you spell that? I'm like, the only way. And apparently
Mhm.
JAXON is a way to spell Jackson. I did not know this.
That's
Yeah, if you want
one
your
of those.
kid to be in Street Fighter or something, that's a pretty cool name.
That's another one of those millennial parent names.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I literally thought that the JACKSON was like the only acceptable way to spell Jackson.
It is.
Oh.
But if you're a millennial parent, sometimes you decide that you want to be different.
You didn't make shit up.
God, how do people spell Riley? I'm looking this up online.
RILEY is the correct way to spell Riley.
But what are the incorrect ways? Because like there have to be others. There's more people than just like the 3 that I named. Like how does John C. Riley spell it? Let's see.
I was gonna say, is that the R?
Oh,
R-
REILLY. That's like a last name version of it, though.
That's tricky.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before. I guess there's a lot of O'Reillys. You know,
Yeah.
there's that one.
Yeah.
So that's something, I guess. But yeah, I just assumed there were more famous Rileys. This is a real.
We're in a
People
drought.
do-
We're in a Riley drought.
I mean, to be fair, DJ had a child, didn't name it Riley, so
yeah, I'm part of the
that's
problem.
just-
It's fair.
yeah.
Next one,
Okay,
if I'm lucky enough, maybe we'll go with Riley. We won't, but I don't love that name.
How about Charles Nelson Riley? He was a famous guy. He was the guy in Match Game who would always say it was sex. He was pretty funny.
Oh yeah, Charles Nelson Riley. What a good
Yeah.
guy.
So he's a famous Riley, but yeah, man, this list sucks. Anybody right now could rise to the top of the Riley charts by being pretty okay at anything. Like, it is such a, oh my god.
Nando's like disgusted that I'm like
we discovered this.
We gave
like,
up the Riley game.
This is incredible. We can, now it's like people can be super famous if they just pick this one name that nobody wants.
Expecting parents, name your kids Riley. They'll have unlimited potential.
Yeah.
If they become famous, their SEO will be fantastic.
And it's okay. It's derived from the Gaelic name Riley, which guess how that's spelled. That's a disaster.
Pass.
So I'm not shocked.
Pass.
Yeah. But yeah, it's there's just very few Rileys out there. I'm even looking at the list on Wikipedia, and it's maybe 100 people long, which is pretty short considering some of these people are American ice hockey players and stuff. That's
The
not
lowest on the fame ladder.
Yeah.
I was going to say the least famous people on earth.
None of these people are real famous people as far as I'm concerned. Man.
Nando's
All right, well,
we have shot. This is the Burger King KFC shake thing. This is
how bad this is. This list has an American pornographic actress on it, which they probably never make these Wikipedia lists.
And also, not their real names.
That's
too.
true.
That too.
My goodness.
That's great.
My goodness. People should be naming cartoon characters Riley too, because
Inside
that's the
Out,
thing that-
they're like, let's get his main character, let's name her Riley. So
yeah, and that worked for them pretty well. So
I mean, I remember
and that's crazy because that's not a relatable name. None of us have it. Nobody has this name.
It's a great point.
They should pick a name. Everybody in these movies should be named Steve or whatever. Steve, Muhammad, all the popular names. Just go right down the list. Pick them. Everyone's Mary. Yeah. Ugh. My goodness.
Wow.
I'm going to keep looking at this list, see if I can find one.
Right. So, guys, find Nando the commercial and find more Rileys. These are the things that are missing in Nando's life that he needs.
Yeah, I just, they have to exist. There's no way there's this few. But maybe it is.
Shattering.
How about fictional male characters? All right, anyway.
Well, I was going to say, Nando, while you look up more Rileys, Diggins has to give us the summary of Bad Boys Ride or Die.
Well, first...
Oh, right, no, we say our things. That's
Nando
right.
has to tell us what he thought of this movie.
Yeah.
I forgot that's how we do things.
So so that I can go right back to my great Riley hunt, I'm going to say this movie was pretty good at being one of these movies. I think these are okay. You could have showed me the third movie again and I would have gone, I like this. This is pretty good. Not as good as the second one, but maybe as good as the first. Because I didn't remember a single thing that happened in that. Characters were referencing things and I was like, there's no fucking way. But then that did happen in it. I think as a show, or as a movie and a franchise, this stuff is fine. The action's pretty good. The action is good. Sometimes it's really weird, and sometimes it works and sometimes it's a little much for me, honestly, but I appreciate the ambition of it. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are doing their shtick. Everybody that's new is kind of boring. They shoot a lot of guys. I don't know, it has the right amount of dumb bullshit where it just these end with some people going to one place and unloading 1 million bullets on a zillion guys and they all explode. I would say there's a scene, the first scene of this movie, that's what I expect from these. And I really liked that kind of. It was a little silly, but in a way that I enjoy these. And when this does get a little too serious and the plot gets more confusing, it kind of loses me. But, whatever. This is how bad I was at this movie. When they go, like, we have to go to prison to talk to a drug dealer we know. I was like, Johnny Tapia? I thought he exploded. And then it was like, oh no, there was one in that last movie. And I was like, oh, right. I forgot they made that. So, you know, I mostly like it. Will Smith is good. You know, it writes a lot of checks that it isn't really good at cashing. But it's fine. Everybody in it's doing a more or less good job. I don't think like it's a better movie than like Mad Max or anything like that. So like the fact that this seems to be a big hit this summer is a little surprising to me, but also like Will Smith, you know, there was a time when he was just the guy, and maybe it's circled back around. I don't know. He did a Hot Ones. Nobody in Mad Max did a Hot One. No, wait, that's not true. Chris Hemsworth did a Hot Ones. Yeah, that can't save me either. Anyway, yeah, I think this movie's okay. Diggins, what did you think of this movie?
I think the number one thing I've learned from doing this podcast over the years, is that these kinds of movies are generally not for me. Like, not even in a, I think they're generally pretty bad way, or like they're usually poorly made. Just the sort of like high testosterone action, like super macho thing just doesn't really work for me as a person. Which is to say, I don't like love this movie or think it's great, but I didn't hate it. I was like, this is okay. This is an all right movie, which I think is perhaps the most I can ever get behind one of these. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just feels very safe, I guess. In that it's just more Bad Boys. It's just more Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. Martin Lawrence says something ridiculous, and Will Smith gives him a look like, "What are you talking about?" And then they shoot some guys, and like that's the whole movie. Yeah. I think it does a pretty good job of emulating the Michael Bay style, considering Michael Bay didn't direct this, which I think is bad. So like they did a good job of doing something I don't like. So yeah, like I guess that is my ultimate opinion. They did a good job of doing something I don't like.
Nice.
So high like praise. I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's perfectly fine. I think if you like these kinds of things, this isn't going to be your new favorite or anything, but you'll watch it and you'll be like, yeah, I like these, which is probably why it did so well. Because there are a lot of people who like these, and because it's not bad enough or like weird enough to be offensive to some people's sensibilities. It's comfortable and safe. Yeah. Unlike something like Furiosa, which is actually an incredible movie that everyone should watch, but you know, people, as I said, are no-taste clowns who love bad things.
So really have an axe to grind, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I said, it's not really for me, but it's a fine movie. I don't have an axe to grind with this movie. What about you, DJ? What did you think?
I liked it. I thought it. Maybe I'm going to give it a quite good. You know why? Because it's the shortest of these, which good job there.
That was nice.
But I think what this movie did that I don't know if like it kind of did impress me. It and we'll talk about it. It did the thing with Martin Lawrence's character that I actually think was like an interesting choice, because I think that Fast and Furious like ran into this problem. It's like we don't know how to make it crazier, but like we're just like sending them to space, and like the characters are just like more or less the same. But this one, it's like, whoa, how could we like shake up the snow globe? And they do shake up the snow globe, and it is like this like weird like reason for why. And again, we'll talk about it. I don't want to spoil. I don't know how much it's alluded to in the trailer, because I don't think I've seen a trailer for this. But
there's a fair amount of it in the trailer.
Okay,
I think.
Well, yeah. If people hadn't seen it, like it's just they do a cool thing with this character, and like I think it at points makes the movie very funny. Like I thought the donkey conversation was like legitimately hilarious. Like I very much enjoyed that. And I just think there's a lot of that sprinkled in that, like to your point, Nando, when like the plot seems like it might drag, and we're getting too much in like the weeds of like where are the drugs and where's the info and who's framing who, da da da. we get like a little conversation about like, you know, how like Martin Lawrence has gone crazy, and I enjoyed it. So I'll give it a quite good, because it's like a fun summer action movie with some hijinks in it. You know, I think that IMDb summary more or less nails it. It's like, oh, but this time they're on the run. That's different. They haven't done that before. Every other movie's done it before, but this franchise hasn't. So it's like,
yeah,
we're doing different stuff, and it's like, I will give them credit for doing different stuff. You know, it probably does for a lot of people fall into the same like generic action movie slot, but like I think it's good that every summer we have at least one of these, and I don't know what other one of these we have. Like it's probably this one this summer, like your big just like generic action set piece movie.
I mean, like, you know, if you count Deadpool as that's kind of that.
I actually put Deadpool
Especially
in like a
'cause he
different
has guns.
category. I don't know. I don't want to go into predictions, but
Well,
I think Deadpool might catch people by
well,
surprise by how like inside baseball it is.
I also think like Deadpool is an action movie, but it's not a dad movie.
Yeah.
Bad Boys is
yeah.
a dad movie.
That's it.
Well,
Diggins,
this is-
the dad movie.
Well, this one is weird in that way because it did evolve into a dad movie, right?
That's
like
true. It does.
people that were watching it when it came out the first time were teenagers. I would say was the audience was
yeah, like
designed for, and the character.
2003 or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, 2000. I think the first one might have been the year 2000.
Okay.
And then, and the second one was 2003. So like, it's one of those franchises where they did pick it up 5 years or like, you know, 15 years later,
Yeah.
and then that makes it a good candidate for a dad franchise.
Bad Boys 1 was 1995, right? So actually the
Oh,
gap
wow.
between the first two was quite large.
Yeah,
So
I guess Will Smith was so in demand
yeah.
that it was like, and he didn't make sequels, I think, for a while. And then this was like a big.
I guess it was like a big
when
deal.
he
Yeah,
made
like Bad Boys too. Yeah.
and Men in Black too, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it's because Wild West flopped. I think that had something to do
Yeah.
with it.
And then Independence Day 2
Yeah.
exists.
And also,
Mhm. He died
since
off
we-
screen on the website.
since we didn't do the name game, we didn't get to go into the question of whether Sheriff James West counts as his name being in the title for Wild Wild
Mhm.
West. Because it's kind of about him, but it's also just about the setting, right?
Yeah. I would say you'd have to have Jim at least in there. As like something. I don't think you could take Sergeant or like, you know, Sheriff West. That's how I would adjudicate it. But, you know, like you can't do Hancock. You can't just make it if it's
right.
Yeah, no, obviously not Hancock.
But even though Hancock isn't his name, he has a name in that I think is like John.
But his name is John Hancock, isn't it?
No, Hancock this movie sucks. I hate Hancock. But his name is Hancock because he loses.
You hear that, listeners?
Yeah,
Next time
right?
one of you wins something, make us do Hancock.
Ugh.
Torture Nando.
That's a good call.
The Hancock name comes from the fact that he got memory loss because I think of a big fight or whatever, and then came to, and in the hospital they asked him for his John Hancock, and he thinks his name is Hancock because of that.
Oh yeah.
That is the canonical reason in that movie.
Incredible.
It is quite bad. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can't believe he ended up with a name just because a man from the 1940s asked him for a signature.
Mm-hmm.
I love this, by the way. This was Will Smith doing promo for Hancock. Hancock is not your average superhero. Every day he wakes up mad at the world. He doesn't remember what happened to him, and there's no one to help him find the answers.
Yeah.
Damn.
Imagine if Zack Snyder directed Hancock.
It'd probably be good because like the problem with Hancock is he immediately goes like, I'll be a nice hero. And then because public relations, it's all about PR instead of like, what if the hero was drunk and crashed into buildings a lot? And that part I think was fun. There's a deleted scene of Hancock where he has sex with a woman, and then, spoilers for the Hancock deleted scene. That is the one good part of Hancock, where he has sex with a woman, and then kids maybe close your ears for this one. At a certain moment, because he lives in a trailer, at a certain moment you could hear him go, now! And then just 3 bullets fly out of the top of his trailer, making little bullet holes, because that is his jizz in the moment, because he does super jizz. So like stuff like that, I was like, oh, that's like kind of fun. But that didn't even make it into the movie.
Ask, did he accidentally kill her with his shotgun sperm?
No, I think that now is kind of like, all right, get off now. Like he was very precise. Like this happens in a lot of parallels.
But that means he did kill a woman once with his shotgun
yeah,
sperm.
probably.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I mean, that could be in the prequel. I mean, to be fair, the other thing we learn in Hancock, and we'll get to this movie in a second, is that he has a forever bond with his one love,
Yes.
Charlize Theron, who is also a super person. So hypothetically, they could have
Right,
sex.
that's true. Yeah.
But any other normal woman or man would be destroyed by Hancock.
By Hancock's Hancock.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh God.
It's such a stupid movie.
I can't wait to do it for the pod one day.
I really don't like it. Yeah.
Dickens, you still have a movie to select.
Yeah, that's not going to be Hancock.
Okay.
That's too mainstream.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Diggins, what you do have to do now while Nando finds Riley's and looks up pole vaulting commercials. Okay, good.
I'll give you a little quick Riley report before we... Oh, wait, I deleted it. There's a Last of Us character named Riley. I believe the girlfriend or something.
Okay.
That comes in later in the game is named Riley. And BB King's first name is Riley.
Oh, okay.
Apparently.
Would you say that what you're doing right now, telling us about all these Rileys, you're trying to get us to factor in some sort of O'Reilly factor?
Boo,
Yeah.
boo.
No. Good.
Boo.
He did come up on some of the lists I found, but obviously not a real Riley. And then there were Rileys in shows I haven't watched, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer has a Riley. I think like Supernatural had a Riley. So they exist, but like as far as mainstream characters that people would recognize by name, it seems like Last of Us and Inside Out are the only two that have ever really cracked the public consciousness, which is, surprising.
Nice.
So Diggins, what happened in Bad Boys for Ride or Die?
Ride for Die.
Right. So we open with the bad boys themselves, Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett.
Yeah.
Speeding through the streets of Miami to get somewhere, and they're wearing tuxes or suits at least. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're dressed up nice.
I don't think Will Smith has his suit on, but he has his certain shirt and tie.
Yeah. Anyway, Marcus convinces Mike to let him stop at a convenience store real quick for some ginger ale, but he tries to sneak some skills and an old hot dog too.
A day old hot
that
dog from a
Marcus.
gas station. Ugh.
From a convenience store.
All right, fine.
It's different.
But
Plus, it's Miami,
Mm-hmm.
Everything's day old hot dogs from a convenience store,
fair.
pretty much, as far as I know.
Yeah, Miami is the day old hot dog from a convenience store
Yeah.
of cities.
And I'm taking this from New Jersey.
Yeah, right.
So I know which states are day old hot dog store states and which ones aren't.
But anyway, then a robber comes in and he's like, "Oh no, Mike wanted me back quick." And they have some banner where Mike comes in and is like, you saw the trailer, right? It's the scene in the trailer
And
where they act really casual about the robbery and then they shoot him in the knee.
And I believe this is the first scene of the first movie.
Is
It's something very similar. It happens in one of the Bad Boys movies as the opener. One of them goes to a store and then they do this little routine. I don't remember which one though.
I don't know either. Anyway, then they get where they're going, which turns out to be Mike's wedding. And you're like, oh, the ex he reconnected with in the last movie.
Yeah. Gabrielle
and,
Union's
like,
character maybe or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's
they
a
seem
couple.
they seem to be like rekindling something over the course of that movie, the last one, and you saw she's in the cast list again, so you're like, oh, that's what it is. And no, there's a completely new character who was apparently his physical therapist after last movie that he's now marrying, and and her name's Christine, and you're like, I guess, sure.
Yeah.
And the other lady who was his ex is also there, and she's I guess engaged to. They never quite say if they're because he says congratulations to them, which I think means they're supposed to be engaged.
I'm thinking of a different character than the one you're talking about. Your ex is different. I'm talking about Gabrielle Union is the girlfriend.
Oh, sure. She's from 2, but I mean specifically in the previous movie to this one, there was the ex character that he was sort of like, became friendly with again, and they had some banter and flirtation and whatnot, and you're like, oh, is something happening there again? And then no, he doesn't marry her in this movie. And she's engaged to another guy, a guy you look at and he's like, I'm running for mayor, and you're like, oh, he's one of the villains. Okay. the wedding's all going nice, but then Marcus has a heart attack on the dance floor because he lives
Great
such an
song, by
unhealthy
the way.
lifestyle.
It's a great song.
Which song?
Heart attack on
the dance floor.
Yeah.
Oh,
Isn't that it?
That wasn't what he was dancing to, was it? That would be funny.
I don't think so.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't know that was a song.
Heartache on the dance floor. Same thing. It's you know, heart attack, heartache.
Attack's extremely similar.
Yeah.
I mean, one starts it and then the other finishes it, right? Like,
oh man.
I assume.
For a second, I was wondering if Marcus did have heartache on the dance floor because for the first 20 minutes of the movie, it refuses to show his wife or any member of his family.
Yeah.
Even though they're in situations where his family would definitely be around.
Mm-hmm.
But it turns out they just did. I guess they didn't want to pay those actors because they do show up later.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a heart attack. He gets sent to the hospital, but he's okay. But not before he goes on a vision quest through the
Let's
astral
go.
plane.
This is the stuff I was talking about. Fucking phenomenal.
Where he meets Joey Pants, who whispers something to him and then smiles beatifically and tells him it's not his time. So then Marcus kind of like feels very zen. He's at peace with the world. He feels one with the universe, and he knows that he cannot die.
Mm-hmm.
It's not his time. And Will Smith is like, this is weird, but whatever. Anyway, then they go to work, and everything, or he goes back home and everything's cool, but then, news comes out. Actually, at first I should say, because we see this, some kind of villain man has a secret meeting with a cartel guy where he threatens him and his girlfriend and gets their bank account info to backdate a bunch of payments to Joey Pants over the course of the past, like, couple decades.
Oh,
no. And then the bad boys find out that Joey Pants is being posthumously investigated to see if for corruption, because there was a mole in the police department to the cartels all these years, and they think, based on these payments they just found, that it might have been Joey Pants. And there's a head of the FBI who's leading it, who's really antagonistic, and you also look at him and go like, oh, he's one of the villains. But actually, no. Like, they really build him up like he is one, but he's not.
Mm-hmm.
And not because they subvert it and he's helpful later. He just doesn't show up again.
Yeah. Weird.
Anyway, Mike and Marcus are like, there's no way Joey Pants did bad stuff. And they set to prove him innocent. In order to do so, they have to go talk to Armando, Will Smith's son from the previous movie, who's in jail for being a big drug criminal.
Which,
and they're like,
if you say so. I'm sure I watched this third movie, and this character seems like he was in it, but I could not remember him.
It all happened.
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, we actually didn't kill Joey Pants last movie, me and my mom. It was set up to look like we did, but somebody else did it. And I don't know his name, but I could recognize him because I met him once. And so they're like, all right, we got to find out. But in the meantime, the bad guy is trying to hack into all of Joey Pants' stuff to make sure that he didn't have any evidence against them. But by hacking into his personal laptop, they trigger a failsafe that sends a text to the bad boys that lets them know that there's something up, and that they should check in with Fletcher from the first two Bad Boys movies.
Right. Excited to see him.
Yeah. I sure hope that nothing bad happens to him. So they go to Fletcher's like art gallery because now he's an artist or a art curator, I guess. But not before Marcus like boogies through traffic because he's certain he can't die.
It's not my time,
and that's when that's when Michael Bay almost hits him.
Yeah,
or almost hits Will Smith, I think. Anyway,
yeah.
They go in and talk to Fletcher, and Fletcher is trying to hint that there's that Joey Pants gave him a message to give to them that he has hidden in his art gallery here. Although I question why, because he didn't know when this was going to come up. So why would it just happen to be the thing he's doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
Unless, did you think he just puts every bit of work he's done since Joey Pants died? He has like worked in this QR code
that no one has seen before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Anyway, the bad guys have shown here, and so before he can explicitly say it, they shoot and kill Fletcher. And I'm like, that's pretty disrespectful to a character that's been around for a long time, but whatever. I don't really care that much about Fletcher from the Bad Boys movies. Anyway, they have a big shootout. They almost catch the guy. They chase him out onto the streets, but Will Smith has a panic attack because he thinks about his beautiful wife. And having loved ones makes you weak.
It's true.
So they don't catch him. And Will Smith denies that he had a panic attack. But fortunately, Vanessa Hudgens and the white guy find the QR code hidden in the art piece, which leads to a second Joey Pants video that tells them where all the evidence is that he's gathered over who the cartel mole was.
Yeah.
So they got to go get it.
Mm-hmm.
But first, they've got a Will Smith convinces his ex-girlfriend, who is now like police sergeant or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or I think above sergeant. I think she's a captain.
Yeah, I think she says she's his boss.
Yeah, so I think she's police captain.
She's the new Joey Pants.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he convinces her to let them transfer Armando to a closer facility because he's willing to cooperate on this case. And she agrees. So Marcus and Mike go to be on the big plane, on the big Con Air plane that you have to transfer prisoners on.
Yep.
With the little cages that they're in, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Big
believe
cages.
the U.S. I believe the U.S. has this sort of thing, but it seems so excessive. But, the bad guy is with the co-pilot, and one of his goons is also there because they found out about this somehow.
Oh, no.
Oh, I wonder who was in the room directly when this was being talked about, who could have told them.
Oh, no.
But regardless, they kill the pilot after forcing him to call in an emergency that Marcus and Mike have gone nuts and are killing people. And then they have a big shootout, but all the bad guys get away, and Mike and Marcus have to stop Armando from dying by his big dumb cage falling out of the plane. and then Armando pulls a Nando and is certain he can fly a helicopter.
Damn
Yeah,
right.
because it's easy.
And he successfully crashes a helicopter.
Yeah.
Or it's not a it's more like a VTOL.
Yeah.
Anyway, they crash into some water outside of Miami, I guess in a swamp or something, and they survive. But now they're on the run because they got called in because of that call-in, they're being manhunted as fugitives along with Armando.
Oh, no.
So the three of them are on the lam, run away. They find some Second Amendment nuts. Definitely a militia.
I love
these
that.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah, they find a militia and steal some clothes and a car from them. And Will Smith is like, we'll bring it back. And I'm like, these guys have definitely killed people and are like insane. So I don't think you need to.
No victim here.
The movie plays it as just like a joke that Marcus thinks it. But like, these guys are definitely super racist, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they have a shirt that says "I'm white" on the shirt.
It's a purebred white boy.
Yeah. And
Which,
like,
yeah,
you can have it ironically if you're Marcus. Like, if he had that, I'd be like, that's a funny shirt.
No, guys. It was like pure bread white. I like my pure white bread. Boy.
Right, they messed it up on the printer.
Like, yeah.
they messed up the order and also the spelling of bread.
That's those
Yeah.
those damn, militia hillbillies for you. Am I right? Can't even be trusted to write their bread shirts properly.
Like my pure white bread, boy. My pure white bread.
That would have been a pretty funny post-credit scene, though. I don't think this was in there, right? Just them waiting for the car. Like, just the two of them sitting there for, like, maybe 15 seconds and going, he did say he'd bring it back. He said that. Yeah, I don't know. And they keep waiting. I like that shirt. It was my white bread shirt.
It's my white bread shirt, yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of other races
know
shirts.
I'm a purebred white boy.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they were going to bring the car back because it, like, explodes or something.
No, that's a
Hot
van later.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
not this car.
It does die, though. In the middle of the street.
This car dies and they just abandon it.
Yeah.
And we never see it again. Yeah, so they make it back to Miami and Will Smith is like, I know a place we can go to for help. But also, in addition to them getting manhunted, the bad guy has put a $5 million hit on their heads amongst the criminal underworld. So all the Miami gangs want a piece of Mike and Marcus.
Yep.
A thing that will be relevant for the next scene and never again.
Yeah, all two of the gangs, too.
So they go to like a strip club to get help from someone Mike knows. And it's Tiffany Haddish. And she's like, yeah, I'll help you if Mike eats me out.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
I'm literally not exaggerating at all. It's not like she's like, if Mike gives me a little tender loving care.
Yeah.
She's literally like, if Mike eats my pussy, I'll help you.
Mm-hmm. They come up with a very good workaround that is not used, but would have been a pretty funny scene if they tried to do it. I think they should have done it.
Yeah. Mike refuses because he's a married man. And it turns out Tiffany Haddish had no intention of helping them anyway because she wants the $5 million bounty.
Mm.
But as they're getting let out, they get attacked by DJ Khaled's crew.
Oh, no.
No. Also a guy from the last movie.
Apparently.
And in the confusion, the bad boys and Armando get to steal a van and I think kill DJ Khaled.
Oh, they must.
Yeah.
They crash the car
They
into him.
pin him against another car with the van.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's probably dead.
Yeah, it's a safe bet.
Anyway, then they have a big chase where the gangs and also the U.S. Marshals, led by Rhea Seehorn, Joey Pants' daughter, who hates Armando for killing her dad, even though we've learned in this movie that he didn't kill her dad. Whoa.
Well, he did kill her dad, right?
No, he says that he didn't.
Oh, I thought he just says that he didn't do it as part of revenge. He did it for a different heist that got tacked onto this one or something.
No. He says that the bad guy in this movie actually killed Joey Pants.
Oh, right.
And then they hacked Joey Pants' name onto his mom's revenge list, so they would think that they did it.
Oh, that totally went by me. Yeah.
This movie's
That's so
wild.
stupid.
Yeah, this movie's wild.
Yeah, it's a dumb retcon. I mean, I get why they'd want to do it, because if they're going to try to redeem Armando, you don't want him to have killed Joey Pants, but it's
the only character anybody likes in these.
Yeah, but it's still stupid.
Very stupid.
Anyway, there's a big chase. The car gets lit on fire, but they manage to get away and shake everybody, the U.S. Marshals and the gangs. And they make it down to Dorn, their own purebred white boy on the police force.
Yeah, man.
Where they find out that he and Vanessa Hudgens are an item, and they've been doing it daily, nightly, and ever so rightly.
Yeah, I mean, apparently the only thing holding them back was Charles Melton in the last one. And now that he's too big for these, they're like, all right, I guess we're going to fuck then. And I kept waiting for him to show up and nothing.
I forgot Charles Melton was in the last one.
Mm-hmm. I was like, he's cool.
But anyway, they all decide to work together, even though Vanessa Hudgens doesn't like Armando either. The two of them go get the evidence, while the bad boys lay low for a bit, except I think first they get the evidence, and then they work on IDing the dude.
Yeah.
And Will Smith tells the captain, his ex-girlfriend, what they're doing, and that Armando's going to ID the guy and everything.
Now that I think about it, I think they got the evidence when they went to the art show. Because they were there, and I think he's like, go get the evidence, because it seems like...
Oh, yes, yeah, you're right. They told him to go do it then, and so they go meet them now, and they have the evidence. They've gathered it.
Mm-hmm.
So they go. So he tells Captain Ex-Girlfriend, and then they go through all the evidence, showing Armando pictures of all the guys, until they identify James McGrath, U.S. Ranger, I think.
Yeah, former U.S. like something. Yeah.
Right. Well, I think he still is, because I think he's still placed in the government/military.
Okay.
Do you think he's related to Bloodbath McGrath, the villain from Wild West?
Yeah. It turns out Mike Lowry is a descendant of Sheriff James West, and this guy is a descendant of Bloodbath McGrath.
They've been fighting throughout time and stuff, and
Marcus shares his theory that he and Mike are soulmates, and they've been reincarnated many times throughout history, where they've always been partners.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe in a past life, Mike was Sheriff James West, and Marcus was the guy I always think is Robin Williams, but isn't Robin Williams in Wild Wild West.
Yeah, what's his name? Atticus something? Or he's got a really messy name.
I don't remember, but yeah, that guy. And then also James McGrath is the reincarnation of Bloodbath McGrath.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
That must be.
Yeah.
So where's the other guy with the wheelchair? The guy who has to spider legs at the end, you know?
He's the guy who's totally not the villain, who totally hasn't been feeding information to James McGrath.
That feels right, yeah.
Anyway.
Artemis, that's the name of Kevin Kline's character. Okay, go on. Sorry. That's the Wild Wild West character.
Right. And it's Kevin Kline. I always think it's Robin Williams, but it's Kevin Kline.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so they're all happy because they've ID'd the guy, but then they realize, I think they see in the Ring camera that Marcus has in his house. So a big product endorsement for Ring.
Yeah, that was huge.
Yeah.
You could spy on your family while they're being abducted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they see that a bunch of goons have come to Marcus's house. And they're like, uh-oh. So both of them try to call their loved ones. Marcus calls Reggie, his son-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike tries to call Christine. Marcus reaches Reggie and warns him that people are coming. Goons are incoming. And Reggie, being a U.S. Marine, does a whole little action sequence where he kills all the dudes and protects the family. And then they get out and they're all okay.
Yeah, it feels like a low-key Marines commercial, too.
Mm-hmm. And then, but Christine doesn't pick up the phone. And also, Rhea Seahorn's daughter, Joey Pants' granddaughter, comes visit her to be like, I know Uncle Mike never would have done this. And she's like, I think you're right. And they hug it out. But they get the phone too late. By the time she answers and knows that they should leave, James McGrath is there with his goons, and they get kidnapped. So back at home base, they're all mad about it, and they're like, how could he have known that we were on his trail? And they realize that there's literally, besides them, 2 people who know about it, and they trust Captain Ex-Girlfriend, so it must be Captain Ex-Girlfriend's fiance.
Yeah, politician, man. Pointy nose politician guy. Yeah, really, like, just boom. What a profile.
So they tell Captain Ex-Girlfriend, and she tricks him into texting his buddy so that she knows that it's true, and then they capture him after he has a frankly quite brutal fight scene with her where he's like bashing her head against glass.
That was
a glass elevator and like cracking it. Like, normally in these sorts of movies, you don't have large, like, physically imposing men bashing women's heads against glass.
Yeah, that's a little uncomfortable, right? Just like a little uncomfortable.
I mean, I kind of thought she was going to kill him in that moment, so I was like ready for it. I was like, "Go get him," but then she doesn't.
Right. In fact, she doesn't even win the fight. She has to get saved by the bad boys.
The bad boys.
The bad boys.
Anyway, so they kidnapped him, and she pretends like she's going to forgive him, so they get his voice print, so they can send a phone call with his voice. Thanks to AI.
Oh my god.
Very dystopian.
Now I will say they don't say AI. They don't say AI in the movie.
That's true.
They just say they've got his voice print.
Yeah. Still very dystopian.
And they call James McGrath and are like, we got found out. We're going to evacuate the hostages to Cuba. I'll be there tomorrow with a seaplane. But really, the bad boys are going to show up in the seaplane, and they're going to take care of business. And at one point, Mike says, I don't trust anyone who's not in this room. But what he meant by that was, I don't trust anyone who's not in this room, and also this one seaplane pilot.
Yeah.
Because there's just some random seaplane pilot who's part of this.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so they fly in. The Vanessa Hudgens and the purebred white boy are doing like surveillance with Captain Ex-Girlfriend. Armando has like infiltrated early, and he's like under the docks because they're on like a dockside, like abandoned gator themed amusement park.
Yeah,
I love the set piece. So good.
Or something.
So good.
Yeah.
And then Mike and Marcus are hidden in the seaplane while the politician man goes out to pretend like everything's fine. And they're like, if you tell him anything, we're going to shoot you in the head. So they start bringing the prisoners out, but Mike's having a panic attack because James McGrath has his wife in front of him. So like, if he takes the shot, he might hit his wife. So he can't take the shot. And it lasts so long that the goons start finding Armando because the gators are reacting to him, and that tips them off.
In Will Smith's
and they didn't check if there were gators.
Yeah,
they
right.
Didn't even seem to tell them until they get there.
In Will Smith's defense, he never has a clean shot. Like, absolutely not.
I mean, he never has an actual clean shot. He has a movie clean shot where the god is on his forehead, and that means you will always hit.
And he's taken way less clean shots that are like magic shots because he's amazing at this. I'm pretty sure that's how the second movie ends, and definitely the first.
Yeah.
Both have like moments where he does an amazing shot. But yeah, he has trauma now, so can't.
Right.
Yep. So Armando has to blow his cover or to avoid getting killed, and then all hell breaks loose. They take the hostages back into the room. Micus and Mark.
There it is.
They're alternate
bust out of the
selves.
seaplane and have a big firefight. There's a big shooting fight with them, and the Captain Ex-Girlfriend and the other two come in. The politician guy tries to take off in the seaplane, but who does something to... Was it Armando?
Captain Ex-Girlfriend.
Oh, right.
Whips
Captain
out a gun and just, like, I think it's like grenade launcher or something.
Oh, yeah. She takes out a grenade launcher and, like, partially blows up the seaplane so it crashes into the amusement park.
Almost kills everybody.
Yep.
Like, many main characters are almost accidentally killed by that. It's wild.
Mm-hmm. James McGrath escapes down into the basement area with Christine, while Armando saves Joey Pence's granddaughter.
Right.
Marcus and Mike follow down to the basement, but by jumping down, Marcus breaks the glass, and they end up in the pool with the big albino gator that was rumored to still live here. And Marcus calms him with his supernatural powers, but then the gator bites him anyway. But it's fine. Being bitten by a gator who's the downward force of their jaws is like incredibly powerful and can sever a man's limb easy.
A man's limb, not a bad boy's limb.
That's right. That's why. Mike just comes out and stabs the gator, and the gator's like, well, fuck this then, and leaves.
Oh, they should have totally had it take his arm off. And then he'd be like, Joey Pants said I couldn't die today. And he's like, yeah, you're alive. Just, you didn't say you would continue with all your limbs. Totally on the table. And then he could go back to heaven and be like, Joey Pants, what happened? Like, I don't know, man.
And then Joey Pants would be holding his arm, like,
no.
Yeah, man. Well,
Yeah.
you'll get it back when you die. Anyway, so because he's got a gator bite, Marcus can't go on. So Mike goes after James McGrath. Also, Captain Ex-Girlfriend kicks the evil politician into a... He tries to shoot her, so she kicks him into the pool, and he gets eaten by the albino gator.
Mm-hmm.
Duke.
Anyway.
Duke. That's his name, right? Duke.
That's right.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah, it was Duke.
Yep. Marcus goes wandering through the jungle and finds the dream spot where he talked to Joey Pants. But in the real world. And then James McGrath shows up and holds him and Christine hostage. Will Smith gets there and is like, oh no. Oh yeah, also during the firefight, Will Smith was having more panic attacks, but then Marcus slapped him and said, you should be cool instead of not cool. And Will Smith was like, you're right, my panic attacks are cured.
Yeah.
So James McGrath is holding up both Christine and Marcus and it's like, you gotta pick one to die, Will Smith. Will Smith is like, I've also seen Speed. And shoots Marcus in the bulletproof vest and then shoots James McGrath in the head.
Yeah, it's pretty weird that he's like, I'll kill one of them to torture you. And then I guess you shoot me and I die? Like,
yeah,
I'll shoot both of them and then you. Why am I doing this?
Anyway, all's well, except Rhea Seahorn finds Armando and wants to shoot him. But the granddaughter is like, no, Mom, he saved my life. And she's like, fine, I'll let him go. And so he, even though he was actually going to provide very vital state's evidence and probably could have gotten his sentence reduced pretty significantly, given everything he's done, and like actually gotten to live free, he's like, I'm going to keep being a fugitive, and he runs away.
Mm-hmm.
But the prison system is inherently unjust, and we should abolish it. So I guess I don't. I'm not complaining. It's inherently punitive and not actually redemptive at all.
Yeah, I mean, we saw his cell before, and he just has one of those big cells in the middle of an empty room.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucked. Don't go back there.
He's a hardcore criminal, you know?
Apparently, he's like Magneto or something. We need to, like...
yeah, he might use his magnet powers, so we got to be careful.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything's cool. Everyone's... they saved the hostages, and the big bad guy's dead, and they have all the evidence to clear Joey Pants' name, and everybody's happy.
Woo! How would we even know that? By listening to the news for 10 minutes, it feels like.
Yeah, fortunately the news tells us. And they have a big old barbecue in a park to celebrate. But Marcus doesn't want to let Mike barbecue, but then Reggie wants to make his chicken. And we get the classic shot from behind Reggie's head where both guys berate him. And well, he doesn't say anything. But then they're like, Reggie did just... kill like 15 guys and he didn't feel anything besides recoil. So like maybe we should let him do it because actually he's kind of scary.
Yeah.
And then Reggie gets a big old smile and that's the end of the movie, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Bad boys.
Yeah, they do sing Bad Boys in it.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. So Reggie knew Bad Boy confirmed.
Oh, he should be. I almost wanted them to say that or something. You know?
Yeah, the sequel's going to be them passing the torch to Reggie and Armando.
Yeah. And
well,
then
Armando's
like Vanessa Hudgens.
Well, it will be the movie that resolves that.
Yeah.
He teams up with Reggie.
Okay.
These guys have seen Fast and Furious movies.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
They just need Mr. Nobody to show up and like give him a clean bill of, like blank slate protocol or whatever.
Yeah, everything's okay now.
Yeah.
We forgive you for all those DVD players you stole.
Mm-hmm. I mean, listen, these movies are also so old. The first movie might have been about stealing DVD players. I can't remember, but...
I think it was always drugs.
Yeah, that's true. It's Miami, so they love that there. Huge fans. That's pretty much it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. No.
No.
We did it.
But I imagine we have a wheel that
We
should
have
go
quite
through
a wheel. Oh, yeah.
quickly.
We will try. I will spin the wheel, and then we will go through the wheel. Are you ready, guys?
Yeah, let's go.
This movie has so many wheels because of cars. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I spun the wheel. It landed on this one, Marcus Pulse of Roman. This is one of Diggins's. I do think this is a weird place for this franchise to go, considering the Fast and Furious have also done this, but
yeah. They do the same kind of like meta commentary of him being like, I can never die. I go through all these crazy things and I'm always alive. I will say I like this one more than the Fast and Furious one, because the Fast and Furious one feels like it's nothing but like grating meta commentary.
yeah.
Like Roman just kind of decides that because he lived through another firefight. And nothing ever really comes of it. He's just like, yeah, I'm immortal. Whereas this is like, it's much more in line with Marcus's character, who's always been like the goofy one. And he has it because of this vision quest he went on with Joey Pants. And, you know, it affects his behavior in ways that are reckless and dangerous.
Yeah, and I feel like, what was his arc in the last movie? I
He was
cannot
going to
remember.
retire.
Marcus was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he was like extra careful, probably, or something.
He was just like, I'm too old for this shit. I'm retiring. But then he was like, never mind.
He is way too old for this. He's also not really that good at it. I guess he's okay at this.
It's fine.
Yeah,
He's not as good as Will Smith, but he's pretty good at it.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good in this.
I'm with Diggins. I like the swerve, like it, because it did have shades of the Roman thing from Fast and Furious, but this at least felt more purposeful. It also led to like more funny moments. Like in Fast, it was just like, oh my god, like what's even going on right now? But here it was like, I think more pointed.
Oh yeah,
like it was like funnier exchanges. So I appreciated that. So
I almost could have done with a little bit. Well, not more of it, I guess. I think they got the right amount of it. But I loved at the end when he's like, you have to shoot one of them, but I know a secret. One of them can't die. Like that was
yeah.
fun. And, yeah, I liked that. I thought it was cute.
So yeah, I liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a fun little zag that this movie decided to do.
Yeah. Is Martin Lawrence doing too much else besides these? Trying to break open the Big Mama's House franchise again or something? What's he up to?
Let's see. Let's Google Martin Lawrence.
I mean, they are going to make another one of these, apparently. Or at least that's the thing they're thinking about. But,
They
I mean, it
they're-
made money. They'd be
They
fools
said
not
they're
to.
watching how it performs to see if they're going to make another one. And considering it made so much money, that probably means they're going to do it.
Yeah, and they're doing pretty well. So
He only did one movie between the last Bad Boys and this one, something called Mind Cage.
That feels like that's right up our alley. Oh, boy.
Can't wait for us to do Mind Cage.
We might have to.
Oh man,
do
marks
Cage.
Lawrence's first major non-comedic role.
Yeah, and it stars Lawrence, Melissa Roxburgh, not sure who she is, and John Malkovich as Cyrus the Virus, pretty much, it seems like.
The film received mostly negative reviews from critics.
Oh no,
Shocking.
people didn't want to get trapped in the Mind Cage.
The Mind Cage. Yeah, I like it.
As Mary delves deep into the artist's brilliant but twisted psyche, she and Jake get lured into a diabolical game of cat and mouse.
All right.
This
All
movie
right,
sounds
everybody.
incredible.
Put down Mind Cage.
Put it on
your
the
things
list.
to do when you win stuff. Yeah,
I know you already did the IMDb summary, but I don't care. We'll find another game.
That was Wikipedia.
Oh,
That
nice.
wasn't IMDb.
All right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Put Mind Cage on the list. That sounds great. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Good swerve.
I'm sure he probably gets paid a nice amount of money for these.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, Big Mama's House money.
Listen, he's the every member of NSYNC besides Justin Timberlake of this, right?
Yeah.
Like, if anyone's ever like, hey, you want to do another Bad Boys? Will Smith's who you got to convince. Martin Lawrence is like, I could use money, sure.
Yeah.
How did he get started with this? Like I know it's a legacy thing now, but like, how did it start?
He had a couple of these where it was like him and a buddy cop movie where he was the doofusy one.
Okay.
I remember there was one with Owen Wilson, I think. Looking this up.
Yeah,
Is it Blue Streak?
He was just one of those guys in the 90s who did stuff like this, because we used to make a lot more movies like this.
Right.
And it just so happens that this is one because probably because it had Will Smith, that is like still enduring.
Yeah, and like in 1995 when they made the first one, he was a humongous star. Martin was like a huge hit, so of course like he would do something after that. And then he did Big Mama's House. He did Black Knight, which I remember liking as a kid. National Security, that's another one of these. Yeah, they made a lot of these.
Okay,
but yeah, he was pretty popular in them. It seems like after 2010 he really slowed down.
He got old and he was like, I don't need to work, so why would I?
Yeah, I mean, he passed the torch in the Big Mamases to Brandon T. Jackson, his son, and probably thought he would eventually do that in these, but they just can't make anybody else work in them, so he keeps having to come back. So,
it's so true, though.
Want to get that Mind Cage stuff off the ground, but that didn't work, so he's back to Bad Boys. But
it's a shame he can't get the Mind Cage to work.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty fun. He's got such a perfect little lane that he does a good job at being in.
Yeah.
And
it's a good gig. Like, honestly, it's a really good gig.
Yeah. I feel like Will Smith is the one where I'm kind of like, you keep trying to branch out and then falling back into the, Will Smith has had a lot of high profile bombs over the last 20 years. So I'm not surprised he keeps coming back. Honestly, though, if Martin Lawrence was like, I don't want to do one anymore, I wouldn't be shocked. But yeah, like after Will Smith does, I don't know. What's a big flop he's had recently? Spies in Disguise or something. Gotta go back for Bad Boys. This or Gemini Man, that's the circle of life. But yeah, Martin's good in this. You know who else is good in this?
Who?
Spun the Wheel again. One of Diggins's. We regret killing Joey Pants. Pretty good in this.
Yeah, they clearly were like, we can't do one of these without Joey Pants, so he gets to be a spirit guide.
Mm-hmm.
A spirit guide and show up in videos he recorded before he died.
Yeah, he's a blogger.
Why didn't it turn up? They just did the Dark Knight, and it's like, that wasn't me. It was, I faked my death using a capsule. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, I go into deep cover.
Like Dickens is right. Like the movie regrets killing Joey Pants. So
I guess maybe since they were also retconning who killed him, they felt it would be a step too far.
Yeah.
I guess.
I think I would have been okay with them having his brother, identical twin brother, show up and get revenge or something.
Ooh, that'd be good. Yeah.
Movies are pretty stupid. I would have totally bought it, actually.
Like in Scrubs, when they killed off Laverne and then later just had the same actress come in as a different nurse who looked exactly like Laverne, but no one besides JD would ever comment on it.
Pretty much, yeah, like in Beer Fest, when the guy dies and then he's immediately replaced by his twin. It's like, well, we wanted some stakes, but we also still want him in it. And that worked,
That's what I was thinking of. Classic example.
Joey Pants has an insane line in this. I don't know if this is something he has done in all of these, but he calls Will Smith, Marcus, and Mike, like those two, his bad boys.
Yeah.
My
bad
boys. Has that been going the whole time where he's like, let's get the bad boys on it, Or is that
No. Let's get my bad boys.
My bad boys, yeah.
I need my bad
boys. Such a line.
I feel like it would have been funny if they were both like, did he call us that?
Yeah.
Like, is that how he referred to us to other people?
Does he know we sing it alone in the car 3 times over the course of our lives? Like, that's weird. I don't think it's a coincidence that now everybody thinks we're bad boys. Like, maybe Joey Pants did too much branding. But also, speaking of branding, you think anybody scanned that QR code at the art show at some point? And was like,
found it.
I don't get it. Yeah, this is confusing.
Who is this?
Yeah, it's a cop thing because he used to be a cop, right?
Is this one of those ARGs?
Yeah, I for sure would think that's what it is. I kind of expected when he was like, it's in the art or something beautiful or whatever. I was like, oh, the statue's going to be something specific that they recognized, only they would recognize.
Right.
But no, it's just a QR code. anyone could look up with just a video. I don't even remember. Is the video password protected?
No.
I don't
No,
remember.
yeah.
It just starts playing.
Okay. Yeah. A lot of people have seen this video then.
It's been all over.
Yeah.
It can't stop.
And maybe that's like the whole thing, right? Maybe he was like, I'll make the video part of the art, and that'll be how I hide it. And no one will see it because who gives a shit? But I'll be able to like continue doing that. But then people started doing going to see his art and saw the video and were like, wow, this is actually pretty profound. This is about police corruption and stuff. And then he got a big name, but no one put it together that he's that same guy that got shot that one time at a soccer game, I think. In the third one of these.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Something like that. Yeah, they shouldn't have killed him.
Yeah, huge mistake.
But
huge mistake.
I get why they had Rhea Seehorn come in, and I don't know who the next generation of Joey Pants is, but I could also see replacing him with like his son, played by an actor who's very similar to Joey Pants.
I can't see why they had Rhea Seehorn come in since they had her come in to do nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, didn't he have a wife before? I'm pretty sure we've met his wife. Or maybe it was his ex-wife.
I can't remember.
I don't recall.
It's weird. Not weird, I guess. I don't know. They had a picture of him at the wedding, right in the front of the wedding.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to say. I wanted that as a wheel slice. Yeah. Will Smith's wedding party was Marcus and a picture of Joey Pants.
Humongous picture, too. And like, cool, I guess.
Not even like Marcus's son-in-law, the cool Marine guy, like throw him in there. Like,
I'm assuming Marcus has parents, or something, his own parents. If you didn't know any better, you'd be like, is that his dad? Maybe he's his dad.
Is Will Smith half white?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I'd be like, are they in a cult? Is this their L. Ron Hubbard or something? They have to bring this to the wedding. And maybe it's kind of a cult. The MIMEPD. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it might be.
They function in a weird way.
Well, they have their own rules, so.
Yeah. But speaking of their own rules, I spun the wheel as one of the DJs. Join the Marines, your father-in-law will respect you.
Oh my God. So I'll admit, I like a good, 1v20, just badass takeout, a scene. That's why I love the Beekeeper so much. But it really did feel like, so he does the whole fight, right? Just like messes up these goons. And then he does that salute right to the ring camera.
Yeah.
Like, I know you're watching, sir. And it's like, man, this is a commercial. Like, join the Marines and you'll be like this. You could be a good patriot. Which is funny because like a lot of times like Marines are just like goons who get cut, but it's like, no. That this is one of the ones who'll just like beat up whoever you need to beat up. So yeah, that was something.
It's honestly an interesting arc that this character goes through, not even over the course of all of the movies, because like you said, he was in the first one or second one or whatever as like the boyfriend who they pretend to be in jail and intimidate with a lot of weird gay jokes or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember that scene. But then by now he was in the army last year, or like in the last movie. I remember that. And he got married, I think, in that movie, maybe in the beginning, maybe in the end. But considering that he has this big action scene 2/3 of the way through the movie, I did kind of expect the arc between him and Marcus to be like, he's like, I want to be a bad boy. I'm cool and tough. And Marcus be like, you're not cool and tough. It's not, and then like he proves himself. But in this, like Marcus doesn't really give a shit about him. He's like, get out of my house. Stop playing video games, as if he doesn't know he's in the army.
Right.
Or something.
Yeah. This is nuts.
I guess we're, we got to continue the running joke of him always being mad at Reggie, even though Reggie never really does anything.
Yeah. Reggie's honestly, like, I could see a version of this where Reggie's like kind of annoying and he keeps saluting him and he's like, I'm just a person. Like, you don't have to do that to me. I'm the cool one. But no, yeah. That scene was great though when he did all the murders. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Camera got very exciting. Did a lot of
camera got very Michael Bay.
Yeah. It's it definitely isn't the most Michael Bay shot in this movie for sure. But it's up there. There's the one where he like flips a guy over him, and then we cut to outside. But there's also like a little bit of a transition, so it's almost supposed to be like one motion. That was pretty cool. You know what shot I'm talking about?
I don't.
It's like the last shot of the big fight. He's in the kitchen, and he throws a guy over his shoulder, and then that guy bursts through the kitchen door onto like, the lawn.
Yeah. I remember that.
It was pretty cool. Yeah. Do you think I do think, is this actor ever been in anything before? Because otherwise I would say make him a bad boy now, put him on the team. But maybe,
I don't know.
Maybe he's bad. I don't know.
Maybe he's bad boy.
Oh yeah.
He's like think.
Not even. He's so far down on the IMDb for this. He's not even on
really in the movie
page.
very much.
Oh no, here he is, Dennis Green. Yeah.
Doesn't even have a Wikipedia page.
Doesn't even have a picture on IMDb.
Which, I think this might be the only thing he does.
Luckiest guy ever. Like, what an incredible career. He was on a podcast once in 2020 called Check It
Oh, and
TV.
it is the same Reggie from Bad Boys 2.
Oh, yeah. He looks exactly the same. I feel like he has a really specific look.
It's literally his only credits on IMDb. It's the Bad Boys movies.
And he was good. He did a cool action scene. And then he did a weird smile.
What else does he do? Like, he must do something else in his life, right? Like, there's no way he lives off of Bad Boys residuals.
I mean, especially lives off Bad Boys residuals from 2003 to 2020.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he, like, has a job and, like, he's, like...
I mean, he must. That's what I'm saying.
Car salesman
it's like,
or something.
But what job does he have that lets him take off, like, a couple months to go shoot a Bad Boys movie?
Okay, I'm looking at a webpage. This is on The Direct. This is 4 things to know about Dennis Green. First of all, he originally wanted to be a basketball player. Okay. He was in 15 when he was in the first Bad Boys movie, or second Bad Boys movie, but his first Bad Boys movie. However, oh wow, okay. This was never on his radar in the first place, as basketball was his true passion. However, days before he got the role, he discovered he would be a father as a teenager, which made him reevaluate his life plan. So that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, he wants to play Kobe Bryant in a movie, and he might come back for Bad Boys 5. Okay.
All right.
Sure.
Yeah, it does not say what his job is, if he has a job.
Actor.
Nobody wants to go to work these days, you know? Everybody just wants to be in Bad Boys.
That's why the economy is falling apart.
I mean, maybe he's a real soldier. Maybe he goes to war and stuff.
That's the real propaganda. Cool. Get one of your actual, like, military guys to be in your Bad Boys, and then take out just, like, 15 guys, like, all by yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, chuck him onto the back of SEAL Team 6, have him be there, and, like, don't expect him to do that much, but, like, incredible promo for Bad Boys, 3 or whatever, whenever.
What do you think is more effective Marine propaganda? This scene or that commercial where a Marine fights a lava monster?
Ooh.
Man, I'm shocked they haven't fought a lava monster yet in these, I think Will Smith could take a lava monster. I could just see the scene too. Marcus being like, "That's a lava monster, Mike. I know we fought a lot of things, but we never fought a lava monster." Just some bullshit. My doctor said no lava monsters this month. Full of shit. Marcus, be a man.
It is wild that Marcus doesn't die from a second heart attack after, like, having the first heart attack, and then does all this shit, and then it's like, it's fine.
Yeah, your heart hates it when you get your arm bit off by a dinosaur, like a fucking, and then just blood is spewing out of you. Like,
right? It's like,
hearts usually have a real hard time with that.
Like, they're worried it's you got to be vegetarian now. No more candy, no more processed foods. And it's like, all right, but I could just, like, get my arm bit off and get thrown out of an airplane, and I think my heart's fine.
And yeah, also, it's crazy that at no point does anyone say, also, you should retire from your incredibly dangerous job filled with action.
And also, it seems like he still is eating all the snacks,
yeah.
Right? Like, he gets them thrown out at the very end, but, we learned that, but I'm assuming everything up until this has been just him sneaking hot dogs from gas stations.
That scene with the juice where it's, like, flowing down the slow-mo when he starts, like, drinking it.
Oh,
like,
yeah, that was
so
great.
Wild.
And then for a second, it seems like he's going to get a Popeye power-up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the he doesn't like the one
Black licorice. Is
black licorice. Yeah, that was funny.
You hit no black licorice.
Yeah,
Like,
I will say
favorite stuff.
One thing I really wish this movie had leaned into more that I think would have made me like it more is if the two things had led to like a total role reversal of the bad boys, where it's like Marcus no longer fears death because he's convinced he's immortal for now. So he becomes like totally fearless and confident, and that makes him super good at all the action stuff. While Mike is having panic attacks, and so when the action scenes happen, he's more bumbling and can't really do anything.
that would have been pretty cool.
That would have been,
especially if we had a villain who had dealt with the bad boys before. It would have been pretty funny because they would be like, "Oh, it's Marcus. I don't need to really worry about him." And then he'd take two guns out and jump, and then he'd shoot Will Smith in the butt, and Will Smith would be like, "Ow."
I guess Will Smith like wouldn't allow that to happen. Like even when he has the panic attacks, he's still cool. Like it's fine. Right? He brushes.
Yeah, that's probably why it didn't happen. But it feels like what the movie should have done.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you didn't have like someone with the ego of a Will Smith, then that's probably what would have happened.
Especially because he has a family now, or like at least a wife. Like
family.
Yeah, that's usually the thing that you use to pull one of these guys a little further back in these movies. But I don't know. He does have. I spun the wheel. One of the craziest feats of strength in any movie I've ever seen. Just as Will Smith is the strongest man alive. Remember how he's holding the helicopter, or in the helicopter, he is holding the rope
cage,
that is holding the cage as the helicopter spins around like a merry-go-round and just holding it himself. I want some nerds to just do the math and figure this one out because that's so much force. It's insane.
Yeah.
Why is he even in a cage?
I feel like they try to justify it by having it attached to a pulley because pulleys do amplify your the force used on your end, but it's still like there's no way. There's absolutely no way.
Unless you have a pulley system, all he's doing is redirecting the force, downward forces because it's just flying out in the other direction, right? Like there's only one pulley, and it's so far that the rope almost explodes. Like it gets beaten by the strength. It's right up there with that time The Rock held the things together in the back of in that movie.
Yep.
It's pretty cool.
So bizarre.
That's Spin the Wheel again, another one of mine. Remember the line, "Thanks for the drip"?
Yeah.
That line was weird. I don't like it. That's it.
I feel like none of us have the standing to talk about Will Smith's use of black vernacular in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to say.
Okay. Speak for yourself. All I'll say, in a movie standpoint, is that scene just starts with them putting on a shirt, and then they walk over to the guy and they say, "Thanks for the drip." And it's like they could just put on the shirt. I'd assume he gave it to them. I don't need them to be like, "We're borrowing your Bad Boy shirts for the end of the movie." It's just a weird line in general. I do think the editing in this movie is so tight that stood out as kind of like, I don't know, a weird little flat moment. But also, I don't know, it's pretty funny. Maybe they were just doing it to make their one friend really uncomfortable, and he probably would have answered them with like, "Oh yes, this is my best strip. You're welcome, sir."
He does have that energy, doesn't he?
Yeah. I spin the wheel again. One of DJ's gun POV.
Oh my god, this is so wild. So I think it's at the very end. So there's two things. One, in like the beginning scene where they're in the deli and the guy comes to rob it. The like fish lens used is so odd. Do you guys remember this?
Mm-hmm. Everybody looks weird.
Yeah. I don't know what was going on here, but I was made very uncomfortable. Everyone's face looked a little rounder.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like every time an action movie is like, we're going to get super creative with how we film this, where it's like this, or the like top down sequence from the last John Wick movie, or like all these different like weird perspective flips or like moving around. I'm like, I watch it and I'm like, this is interesting, but I'm never like, yeah, this is so cool. All movies should do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this isn't some like less movies should do this. So that one was like weird, but then there's one at the final like scene where like the gun is now the main character. Like,
Yeah.
Mike,
That's
like,
always been what these movies are. They're embracing it.
like Mike is like shooting the gun, and then you see from like the perspective of like down the barrel, and then he throws the gun, and like you're following the gun, and I'm like, is the gun the main character? Is this movie about the gun?
Also, why are they switching guns? Like, that's
Yeah.
not how it works. I feel like there's even one point where it's like in that scene where Will Smith like runs out of bullets and is like Marcus and tosses the gun to Marcus, who then just fires it, and it's works. It's like, wait a second, he didn't even reload it.
That's how good he is. That's
Yeah,
another thing that
quick
Joey
reload
Pants
perk.
told him was you don't have to reload. Well, it's like video games, right? If you change weapons, that auto reloads it sometimes. So if you throw it to a partner, that does the reload for you.
That must be it, yeah.
But it was just very strange. Like I never watched like Hardcore Harry, but I think that was probably a lot of it, right? Where it's just like the whole movie's like first person, but like
yeah,
it's like
I would say the thing I did see Hardcore Henry, and I would say my reaction to it was exactly the thing I said before.
Okay,
I watched that movie and I was like, this is interesting.
The only time I can think of that it's been done in a way that I kind of enjoyed it was the Doom movie, because it's a video game. So they did like POV video game mode, and I was like, this is stupid, but I like because of the context, I enjoyed it. I thought this looked cool. There's a good shot that's going around of him behind the scenes because they had a weird rig that he used. Have you seen this?
I have not.
Have you seen this, Dickens?
I don't think so.
You got to get your film Twitter grind up, Dickens. Otherwise, you're missing out on some. I'll show it to you, and you'll be like, "Oh, that's cool." That is cooler than the shot in the movie, though. Like, it's like the Fall Guys, where it's like you show me the make it of the movie, and I'm like, "That's pretty good." But, yeah. Is there any other weird stuff in this?
I mean, again, it's like very generic action.
Well, it's very Michael Bay, where it's
like,
like
that's true.
Very shaky and like bouncing all over the place and hard to follow. So like I wouldn't say it's generic action movie. It's very much aping the Michael Bay style, but that's still a thing where I could just say that and you pretty much know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's true.
See, I kind of disagree a little bit. I think this movie did have a lot of style, kind of. It had a lot of like it didn't work for me. But more than some of the Michael Bay shots. Remember that shot where like they did a couple of these where the drone flies through the thing and everybody's fighting at the same time? They were really excited about those. And I feel like with Michael Bay, his stuff always felt very like, I feel like his hand-to-hand stuff was never where he did exciting things. It was always like his big, cars and explosions became the meme. But I do think some of the hand-to-hand fighting in this was pretty cool. But again, I didn't really like it. Like it didn't enhance the movie for me, but I did get impressed by it. Okay, I found the clip. Or is this it? Yeah, this must be it. Yeah, here we go. I'm going to put it in the chat, but this is how they shot that one shot, because there's a couple of these, but this is the long shot where he keeps switching the perspective of gun to thing to gun to thing. And, yeah, stuff like this is like, it's weird that they, like, it's cool, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's a choice. It's like, there were a couple points in this movie, though, where it was like very, like, pronounced. Oh, this is interesting.
But that's the thing. Like, I feel like when it looks like an effect, even if it's an incredible effect, you're not watching a movie anymore. You're like watching the effect, But, A for effort, I guess.
Yeah, but this is the one where it's like, oh, the gun is now the main character. It does feel like a video game. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I spun the wheel again, landed on one of Diggins's, Chekhov's gator. Remember that?
Yeah, they go out of their way at the beginning, or when they're talking about the amusement park, for purebred white boy to go like, there's even a legend, or their old biggest attraction was this huge albino gator named Duke. According to legend, he's still there. But also, I want to say, where he's like, yeah, legend has it that this thing is there, and like, oh, it's this old spooky abandoned place. And then he's like, it was abandoned in 2017.
Yep.
I'm like, that was not that long ago. How are the
Yeah.
legends? It could have been way longer because alligators live a long time. So, like, you know, it wouldn't even be unreasonable to be like, yeah, you know, this place closed down like 20 years ago, but they say that gator's still there.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, why did they do that? Did it close down because I think in the movie it closes down because of a hurricane?
Yep. It is.
Do they want to close it down?
Classic
because of
Miami
that?
reasons.
Yeah. I mean,
They
Miami's having a weird week this week.
Oh man, the weather down there is like looks crazy.
Crazy.
They might drown.
Yeah. I gotta get it together. Not the day, but like DeSantis, I guess. I don't know.
I was going to say, don't worry. I'm sure their extremely good governor, Ron DeSantis, will organize the government in an effective, efficient manner that will provide aid to people.
Yeah. I would say we should say, like, don't go out in the water because you electrocute yourself. But by the time this podcast goes out, they'll probably all be gone or something.
You'll already have electrocuted yourself.
Or that. Yeah, these podcasts take forever to go out. But, you know.
I don't know, it might still be raining there. This looks bad. This is a problem.
Wild.
This is a
Yeah,
problem.
no.
They should
Bad.
do something about this.
World's bad.
Somebody should do something about this.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you know, if only there was a movie about how climate change will flood our major cities, you know? And we could look at that and say, let's not be them. Unfortunately, no such movies. Currently, number one on Netflix's charts.
No, only movies about how if you have bombs at the bottom of your river that are packed with tons and tons of water, that your city will flood.
Then that's
also,
it.
there's no way DeSantis would call off the triathlon. Not in a million years.
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
No. Yeah. Letting these woke, you know, liberals with their fears of sharks control our thing. No. Although Trump hates sharks, so maybe he would take it a little bit seriously.
That's true. And sometimes the boat has a battery. And the battery, if you're in the boat, it will get electrocuted. But also, the shark is there, and the shark will eat you. So, like, those are the two things that could happen. So if that happens, then I would jump out. I would stay in the boat because sharks. I'm not messing with sharks. But that's why we're going to take the batteries out of the boats so that you don't have to get eaten by sharks.
Some MIT shit right there.
Yeah.
I'll get you into MIT, a good school. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. What did you think of the gator? Was it cool when it ate Mr. Fantastic?
It was fun.
I like that.
I liked it. That gator went nom nom nom. I thought it was fun.
Yeah. It did the spinny thing that gators do to get you, you know?
Yeah, I mean, gators is cool. I think we can all agree. I like a gator.
It's kind of funny there's never been one in these because they take place in Florida, and like the Everglades would be a good place to do crimes. So
I learned that from adaptation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like the other thing about the gator, I liked that the gator was white so that Marcus could call it racist, because that's also one of those bits in these movies that's really funny. But then the gator redeemed itself by eating Mr. Fantastic. So
yeah, it turns out the gator is colorblind.
Yeah,
as many albino people are.
I spun the wheel again. Landed on one of DJ's Slap Revenge.
Okay, so this happens during like the firefight at the end of the movie, right? So Will Smith's like having his big old panic attack, and Marcus just like slaps the shit out of him like 18 times in a row. It's like, you're Mike Lowry, snap out of it. You're Mike Lowry. Come on, you're Mike Lowry. Da da da. And I was watching this and I'm like, is this some kind of weird Chris Rock slap revenge something? It felt like something, but I couldn't pinpoint what it was. So I don't know if any of you guys have any thoughts on this or news that I might not be privy to.
I heard that they referenced the slap before I saw it. I don't know. I don't know if I've seen an interview.
Calling this a reference to the slap feels a little, I don't know. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe they did intend it that way, but it's really just feels like the classic trope of like guys freaking out and you slap him, like get a hold of yourself. You know what I mean?
But it's over and over again.
It's a lot of slaps.
Because it's funnier when a thing happens more than once.
And he's so tough, you have to slap him many times.
There's no relation?
No, I do think there's relation. I think that's why they put it in there. Oh, okay. How about this? The director said, well, I think, if you watch the movie, you'll see that there are some parallels between what's happening in the movie and real life. It's almost like a meta experience that Will Smith and the character Mike Lowry goes through with some themes. So I guess that's it.
Well, there you have it. Confirmed.
Yeah. Where a slap happens because of Will Smith's concern for his wife.
Apparently, yeah. Yeah, you know what? He tries to slap the wife into Will Smith. Like that's the thing. Is like Will Smith in the movie in real life was like protecting his wife, but then with the slap. But in the movie, Marcus is like, you need to protect your wife. I have a slap for you. That's interesting. Very good.
So again, this is less about the movie, but so there was a minute where we all agreed Will Smith was bad because he had toxic masculinity on live television in front of everyone. And I was so shocked I had to call my friend Chris Diggins, the only person I know who watches the Oscars, for him to tell me, yep, it happened.
Yeah, that did happen.
I'm still angry that you didn't engage with me in more conversation about it.
I feel like what happened is people went too far with it.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, yeah, I mean, obviously you shouldn't have gone up and slapped the dude. Like, that's not cool. But a lot of people acted like it was the worst, most violent thing that's ever happened. And I was like, okay, like, again, not cool, and he shouldn't have done it, but let's have some perspective here. He just slapped a dude who made a comment he didn't like about his wife. That's not the most insane thing that's ever happened.
So that happened, right? And I mostly agree with your assessment, Diggins, but we all agree, like, to that point, that Will Smith's bad now, and he gets a 10-year ban from the Oscars, which I'm sure they'll lift it next year
immediately after. Well, he's got to accept an award for this.
Yeah, so that they will lift that. But now, like, it's like Will Smith's back. Like, this movie, it did really well. He was on Hot Ones. I assume Hot Ones didn't ask him about the slap.
They did not, if I remember correctly. It doesn't come up.
But like, he's like cool now. So I guess I'm like wondering, like, what happened? Like, did I miss the memo that Will Smith cool now? Like, or did we just memory hole
this is just what we do with celebrities.
Yeah.
Many celebrities who are actively working in Hollywood now have are publicly known to have done things way worse than that. And we're just like, yeah, we're just not going to think about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I mean, as long as you're not on the Epstein flight log at this point, like, you're probably cool. I don't know. Even if you are, if you gave me,
I was going to say, I think there's some people who are that it's like, it's probably fine.
You have an island next door, and you would use this jet for, saving the environment, whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing though about this, right? Is that even like now seeing the movie where he gets slapped a bunch, one of my first thoughts is, oh, is this related to the slap? Whereas like that wouldn't normally be the case. So
the TV show, The Slap?
Yeah, where he slaps that kid.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. It was a British show or an Australian show that they remade in America, and that's the whole plot. Is a guy slaps somebody else's kid.
Oh,
and that causes a rift in the community.
There's a whole dramatic legal battle over it, and like secrets are revealed, relationships fall apart.
Wow.
There's a really funny sketch of it that I'm sure I'll send you guys after this, but it's good.
The vampire one?
No, that one's good too, though. No, this one is just that guy keeps slapping people, and he goes on a slapping spree. But the vampire one's also good. I knew there was the second one, and I forgot about it. I spun the wheel again one more time, landed on one of mine, but it all came up for everybody. DJ Khaled said, "I heard people aren't eating pussy here," and then he appeared. DJ Khaled has a cameo in this. Apparently, it was in the last one. I could not remember a single thing he did. I mean, I know one thing he didn't do. And then he shows up in this movie as one of the gangsters trying to get them with the guns in the scene where they blow up the car. And it just happens to be the scene after Will Smith refused to go down on Tiffany Haddish, even though in that situation, go down on her, dude, whatever. She's going to give you guns and money and shit. Like, say no. And then she goes, no, you have to. And then I guess we fucking do. Whatever.
I mean, she was lying.
Yeah, she's lying.
I mean, she was lying, so yeah, ultimately he shouldn't have. But if you guys are in that situation, do you think your partners would understand?
Yeah,
for sure,
100%.
Why did you ask them?
Well, I mean, I think Marcus gives the best out. Just lay down.
The Marcus option.
Stick out your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever happens.
that's
I
like
just feel like the situation.
There are like horny Christian kids who
Yeah.
come up with workarounds like that, where it's like if you enter, but you don't move.
Yeah.
And like somebody or somehow like somebody's doing it or you're doing it, whatever.
James Marsden's jumping on the bed.
Yeah.
James Marsden is jumping on the bed, so it moves around and that causes the friction. God's not mad about that.
Yeah. And I think
you're
that's
not
accurate.
doing anything.
They nailed it. Like, I also think, I don't think my partner would be mad at me for this part of it. I think my partner would be mad at me for having such a close relationship with some, sort of stripper who I have this relationship with that maybe that would cause problems. But yeah, I don't know. I feel
also,
like
I think it does. I think we talked about this in the second Matrix pod, where it's like also how willing you were to agree to it is a huge factor.
Right.
Where if you're like, no, I would never, and she's like, you have to. It's the only way, and then you're like, well, for the good of my friends, I'll do it. Whereas if she's like, you got to eat my pussy, and he was like, yeah, totally, I'm 100% down. Then it's like, well, wait a second.
I mean, but to be fair, like, what did you expect? Either she's giving you the guns for free, which would be nice, or what? You're gonna give her the nothing you have? Like, honestly, if that's the deal, and I'm like, that's a pretty good deal, all things considered. I'm a fugitive who killed a bunch of cops, as far as you know, and you're gonna help me out? Like, great. But I don't know. I mean, either way, DJ Khaled was involved,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's how he was the first gangster on the scene, and that was how he heard somebody refusing to perform cunnilingus, and he was like, one of my brothers in arms. I can feel his presence.
That is the most embarrassing thing I know about any celebrity, right? It's gotta be the DJ Khaled thing.
Oh, that he refuses to get down.
That he just doesn't, that he has a stance on it at all, I think. That's not whatever, but he does he's very militant about it. And he lost Hot Ones. He had to quit after 3 wings on Hot Ones, which is also
That's
hilarious.
embarrassing too, yeah.
So embarrassing.
Oof.
Will Smith just did Hot Ones, and he did fine. Everybody does fine.
Everyone does fine, yeah.
Bill Burr, I think, quit after like 7 wings, but he's Bill Burr. What do you expect?
Yeah.
But
also 7 is respectable.
Yeah. I think that's okay.
And that's when you get to, once you get to the bomb beyond insanity, it's like, all right.
Right. Yeah. And I think at a certain point, if you're like older, especially if you're Bill Burr, you're like, I don't want to have diarrhea for a week. Can we just be done? Like, I think I proved that I'm so tough, but I just don't want to. Whereas with DJ Khaled, he was just like, this is too hot. I can't handle it. And Sean gave him every out, but yeah.
John Oliver finished Hot Ones.
Yeah.
He's someone who you'd be like, oh, there's no way.
Yeah, he's British. They can't handle any spice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel like when all the comedians go on, they always say that. They're like, what's your spice tolerance? And he's like, I was raised in London where spice is potatoes or something. And yeah, it's perfect. But yeah, DJ Khaled, extra not good at that. Maybe related, who knows? But yeah, he's like the only other cameo that I can think of in this besides Tiffany Haddish and Michael Bay. If you were in a Bad Boys movie, who would you want to be?
Can I only be a cameo, or could I be like a big role?
Can I be Dorn?
Has to be a cameo.
I think Dorn. Dorn be
what? Can't be. Well, there's already a Dorn, and he's not good at it, but he's in it, so we can't fire him. He's not good enough to be a May December and get a shot to his career. So also,
fine. His
fucking facial hair in this movie, dude. Cut your little mustache beard thing. It's so long.
It's not good. All right, so I can't be Dorn.
No, you can't be a main character.
We're just talking about cameos.
I'm fine. I own the like convenience store.
No, that'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool. You get to clown on Marcus a little.
Yeah. I think that's good.
Yeah, I did like how the convenience store guy was selling him out during.
Yeah, right.
Can I make up a character I could be?
For sure, yeah. I feel like these movies are full of tropes from action movies, so they all show up.
I want to be the art critic at Fletcher's show who thinks the shootout is part of it.
Yeah, that's great. I like that a lot.
That's so good.
That would be extra funny, yeah. And then, yeah, but then you'd survive, and you'd be like A+, wonderful, sleep no more or something.
Now when is Fletcher going to be revived? What's going on with Fletcher?
Yeah, I feel like I don't really have like one of these. Besides, I wouldn't like or wouldn't mind being a snooty marriage counselor, trying to like get to sort out Will Smith's marriage. But I feel like that's too big of a role. So if I'm thinking of like things that happen in this movie where you would need an extra, I wouldn't mind.
Would you want to be one of the gators?
Oh, I mean that would be pretty fun.
I have a good option. What about one of the wedding guests who, after Marcus goes down, you're like, oh, I'm out. Like, you just flee.
Or you're the wedding guest who's the only one who keeps dancing after Marcus goes
down.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I want to be the EMT who the scene starts and I take the thing off his arm and then leave. That's such a job, you know? One of those in every one of these. I mean, ideally, I want to be the kid that's going to go out with his daughter and then gets signed up for 3 more of these and becomes the main hero of them.
Yeah, that's probably
if there's any kind of cameo. But yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh, I have another one. I want to be one of the prison guys who gets beat up by
scene was great.
Mike's son, but like I don't die. Because like that was like pretty savage.
I forgot that part of the reason he gets transferred is because the bad guys try to kill him in prison.
That was a sick scene. That's a sick scene.
Tie that weight up, yeah.
Yeah, that was really good. Why do they let them have all those weights? They're such weapons.
I don't know.
I mean, they do. I mean, weightlifting is a classic prison activity, right?
Yeah, but they can use them weights to kill each other. That's very dangerous. He turns it into like a little like sling cudgel thing. It's crazy.
It's wild.
Having never been to prison, I simply couldn't say what it's like in reality.
Yeah, honestly, if I got to prison and it didn't have weights, I'd be kind of bummed. I'd be like,
what am I supposed to do now? How am I supposed to show off my shirtless bod to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all I can do in prison is get stronger so I can fight off all the people who are trying to murder me.
Yeah.
All these paid off prison guards who are just allowing me to be murdered right now.
Yeah, I feel like...
I mean, that part's realistic.
Yeah.
They're probably not even paid off. They're just like, I'd like to see a prisoner get murdered today.
I mean, I would love to see that. If I knew one of the options of things I could see today is like him take a big weight and swing it around like Thor's hammer, cut off a guy's head with it. Absolutely.
Yeah, like that's on the table.
It's pretty cool.
We didn't really talk about this, but the main villain in this movie has like Joker levels of like being able to infiltrate stuff. Like he can just do whatever he wants.
He has Jason Momoa in Fast X levels of he's read the script.
Yeah. I was going to say he has the bad guy from Mission Impossible, whatever the most recent one was. Like, he has the vibe of him, too, of just, like, some fucking guy.
Oh, not the super AI, the guy who works for the super AI.
Yeah, the guy whose job is, like, super AI's
I think that guy, while not incredibly interesting, is still a little more something than this guy.
That's fair. Now that I think about it, the cameo we could all have is those hillbillies. I don't know if we could sell it. That'd be a pretty fun cameo.
I love my proud white bread.
Mm-hmm.
Give it to me.
That's not what my shirt said.
And I love Reba McEntire and her cover of Bad Boys.
Oh my god, Reba. I forgot about the Reba bit.
Insane.
You know that country Bad Boys thing that comes on as they're getting away is sung by Reba?
I have to assume, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's You could tell. She's got a vibe with that.
Yeah, I know a little bit about Reba. I don't know if she's like this. The way they kind of characterize her as every country person's favorite musician. I don't know if she's that.
I mean, she is the queen of country.
Is she?
That's what her Wikipedia page says.
Yeah, if you say so. I guess maybe she is. I also kind of expected one of them to know a Reba song by this point, you know?
I mean, I don't know a Reba song. Do you?
Yeah, she did I know a cover of a Reba song, or like she did a cover of an Elvis song or something. So that I don't know. I watched a couple episodes of her show when it was a show, so she probably sang the theme song. And I know that Lonely Island song where they pretend to be Reba McEntire. So that's probably the one I know the best. But that was a weird little moment. Yeah, anything else from this one?
No, nothing for me.
Yeah,
No.
it's okay. I think they will make another one. What do you think the next one is? Like, where do you go with this franchise? Besides obviously making the son part of it.
I was going to say, I think we're setting up the Armando Reggie version of the franchise.
Yeah. That would be pretty fun. Also,
Yeah.
Is this the first time in these they've been on the run?
I think so. They're
They-
mostly
they-
cops, yeah.
Well, they frequently work outside the law. Like, they'll go and just be like, we gotta go dark and go to Mexico. No one can know we were here.
Yeah,
Right,
but no
but-
one's hunting them.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
no,
no, that's just them going rogue. That's not them like being hunted by the law. Not
Yeah.
that there's a lot of being hunted by the law in this movie.
No, yeah. Just like we can't go home, but also we kind of can. And we also have Reggie, so it's fine. Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't tried to spin this off, but you couldn't. I feel like it has to have these two guys.
I mean, I don't even know what a spin-off would be. It's not like there's other characters.
Well, I do feel like they kind of, in the last one, tried to set up the Charles Melton, Alexander Ludwig,
Vanessa
Hudgens trio as like the hot new thing, but that didn't really work. So, yeah, no, it's fine. But I do think just by sheer luck, the son-in-law seems to have turned into a person that people would accept if they became part of this. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And, maybe that's enough. What do you call a fifth one? How about that?
Oh, like new bad boys. Bad
Do you think you could get away with calling it What You Gonna Do?
Ooh.
Make it that, please.
Yeah, like, it's hard, but I think people would accept it. What was the other thing I was gonna say? Is it woke?
Oh, no.
No.
Right, but they they steal from the hillbillies. That's as close as I could get to woke from these
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, but also the only times they talk about racism where the joke is that he's accusing things of racism that are not about that.
Yeah, that's fair. And they do show that you can be strong through panic attacks and all the Marine stuff, and yeah, it's not quite woke, but that's not what these are bad, not good, so they can't be woke.
Yeah.
And it made money, so yeah, not woke. You guys want to get to our classic segment?
Oh, would love to.
I would love that.
Okay. Does the 5 o'clock person have time? I can't remember who this was.
I have time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We'll run through this then.
Yeah,
All right,
my hour
anyway.
was 7, so I'm fine.
Well, it might be long. Might have a lot of recs. You never know. All right, I'll start again. 3, 2, 1. All right, so DJ, what do you have to recommend to the fine people?
All right. Well, I did get the bread again from the bread gal from Costco, and it does not disappoint. That bread's really good. It's really good bread. So, Diggins, what about you? No, that bread. I started watching a show on HBO Max because it tickled my fancy. At least I had heard some decent things about it.
Oh,
You guys
I
ever
think we might have the same rec.
Oh no, is it a show called Ren Faire?
Hell yeah, it's Ren Faire.
Okay, devilishly coordinated.
I mean, it's a wonderful show. Everyone should watch it.
Yeah, it's also crazy that it's a documentary. Like
Yeah.
this, it feels like it could be scripted. But the premise is there's this guy. He's like the king of the Texas Renaissance Fair, which is the largest Renaissance fair in the country. And he's like ran it for a super long time, and he's stepping down because he's like 80 something. And
he's gonna die in 5 years. He's planned that out.
Yes, yes,
He knows all his numbers. He just wants a companion. That's all he wants.
And he has to decide who shall claim his throne once he's gone, and it's fascinating. It's fascinating stuff. Like I think like the pitch is like Succession, but with like, you know, a Renaissance fair. And I will say, best commercial for the Texas Renaissance Fair ever, because I really want to go. It seems awesome.
Really? I want to go to the German Renaissance Fair.
Well,
I don't want to. Based on all the Renaissance fairs I've seen in this show so far, the Texas one seems like it's run by psychopaths. So I don't know if I want to go there.
Yeah, I mean,
although I do want to have some of that popcorn.
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah.
So yeah, I won't steal all the thunder. I'll let Nando say some more on it. But yeah, it's Ren Faire. It's on Max, and really been enjoying it. 3 episodes out so far. And
yeah, how many are there? 4, 6, something like that.
I have no idea. They're an hour long each. I'm like, how do they have this much? This probably could have been done in like 2.
Oh yeah,
2 episodes. But
well, there's so much coverage too. What did they tell them? Like, walk around the Renaissance Fair and kind of think that maybe you're gonna get fired. Just like you want that from you. And then like you're gonna get a close up of you stroking your chin, and we'll use that for something later. Like, it's so put together. It's wild.
Yeah.
And the things that these people will say on camera is insane.
That,
specifically George, the main guy.
Yeah. I think that falls under the documentary. Sometimes people just say wild shit. So
do you have a favorite character
to murders in documentaries?
That's right.
Know?
So I'm actually only like 1.5 episodes in, Nando. So I'm not like fully committed yet, but I mean, like I don't have a guy who I'm like, oh, I love that guy yet. What, have you like watched all of them? And is there like an obvious?
No,
one?
I've only watched one, but I've found what must be my favorite character is Popcorn Guy. He's the fact that this character not only acts but looks like Jeremy Strong in Succession is amazing. Like
that
this
is,
guy,
he's
got such an incredible energy, and he's so. I love the part where you're learning about this guy, and he's like starts a story like I made popcorn, and then I made this shop, and this shop, and this shop, and this shop, and then like 30 minutes later, someone's like, yeah, and he's a trust fund kid. He got all his parents' money. And you're like, oh, yeah, of course. That makes sense.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, that's what this guy is.
Really is. They found Ren Faire Succession. It's crazy.
It's so funny. I like the other guys, and I think the other character. I think there's another character that's probably going to come up in 2 that I remember from the beginning of 1 that like I haven't met yet, who might be exciting. But I mean, yeah, this is fucking guy singing popcorn songs like. So good.
You actually George goes on a date in the 2nd episode. So
with the sugar woman?
I don't
someone from the show.
I can't remember. Okay. I don't think it's from the show. I think it's like someone else.
The fact that I see that was the other thing. I could watch a whole documentary of George doing sugar daddy stuff online, like and reading all his little DMs, because that's insane. But you're like, that is a real thing.
He's loaded. Like he's got money.
So. $400 for an Olive Garden dinner. Yes, please. Like I'll talk about things I have to be convinced to do. Yeah. And I feel like, not like you're underselling it, but the idea that this is the biggest Renaissance fair, they created a town with their own government that he's also the mayor of. Like this guy it's such a crazy setup that I'm honestly shocked they've never made a documentary about it before. Like it took us this long.
It's very Texas. It started. It's very Texas.
Yeah, it's very Texas.
But yeah, would definitely recommend checking that out. Ren Faire on Max. Diggins, what do you have to rec?
I also have a Max show to recommend.
Oh.
Which is Fantasmas.
Oh, is this any good? I haven't watched this yet.
Yeah, this is the new show by Julio Torres.
Nice.
Who also did Los Spookies, which is one of my favorite Max shows.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he did that one with Ana Fabrega, but still.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, it's like half a sketch show, half a narrative. Because it's like kind of about Julio, like a fictional version of Julio Torres, like being a creative in some city, they don't really say which, and like trying to find a way to like live and make his living without compromising his artistic principles. But also, it's because it's Julio Torres, that's all filtered through a thick lens of surrealism. And like set like large chunks of the episode will just be like the Uber driver that he's got tells him not to turn off the TV that's playing a Alf ripoff TV show, and then the next 5 minutes of the show is just a sketch about the Alf ripoff.
Cool.
That sketch is really funny, by the way. That might be my favorite part of the episode. So yeah, it's primarily just like a comedy sketch kind of thing. But the sketches are all really bizarre and off the wall. It's got some big names too, like Paul Dano is in that Alf sketch. Steve Buscemi is in another one. And it's, I think if the kind of if you've seen any other Julio Torres stuff, and if that kind of humor works for you, then I don't know that this is his best thing, but I think it's a good one, and I'm enjoying it. It's only one episode at the time of recording. It'll probably be 2 by the time you're listening to this. But I think it's only going to be 6 total, so that's not an insignificant chunk. But yeah, it's on Max if you want to check that out, if you like his work as I do. What about you, Nando?
I mean, Max is crushing it, because also Bill Maher is not on this week, so we don't have to deal with him. I'm kind of stuck for reviews. My internet was out for a couple days, so I didn't watch too much stuff. I did watch, at least the first episode of Ren Faire, and I loved it. But yeah, all the stuff that I said is the stuff that I said. I can't think of too many other things. I'll say, speaking of Max stuff, John Oliver's episode about deep sea mining, pretty interesting. Didn't know any of that stuff before. But
he finally did a deep dive on the Meg 2.
Mm-hmm. Kind of. A little bit, almost. If those little dinosaurs in the Meg 2 were real, they could have probably popped in there. Honestly, it's crazy because they did a bit on that, and they did a bit on the Paris, because they are doing, I don't know if you guys knew this, Olympic events in the Seine, and the Seine is remarkably dirty, obviously. And part of the thing is the mayor of Paris, whose name I don't remember, and then Macron also, although with less specificity, said that they would swim in the Seine to prove that it's safe. And people in France have come up with a calendar of when to poop in the Seine so that it hits them as they're doing their race. Like, super funny. But like, between those two stories, I was like, when's he going to talk about the shark movie? Because this is what it is. And he never did.
Boo.
I know. But yeah, no, I really liked Ren Faire. I think it's really fun. Besides that, I haven't really been on too much stuff. I've made a lot of, excuse me. I made a lot of progress on, Hades 2. I think I've gotten as far as the game will let you go. So there's definitely some stuff that I'm bumping up against, but I would like it a lot. When's
the full release?
They don't know. I think it's next year though. I think it's
they haven't said yet, but I think they did suggest it would probably not be this year.
That's fine.
I don't want to fully say people should play this version instead of the other version. However, there is a boon in this version that will never reach production the way that it currently is. It just absolutely shreds bosses. So that's kind of fun to have. And people that know it's one of the, people know. But yeah, it's a good, I think it's great. I mean, I miss the voice acting. Like, that's the one thing that I think I'm excited for them to put in, because the other game had really good voice acting. But yeah, that's the only thing I can rec right now. What are we doing next week, fellas?
Outside In 2.
The Universal movie about experiences we all have.
Yes, we all have those 5+ other emotions.
I mean, we've all felt emotions at some point in our lives, probably.
Yeah, and a bunch of other things that aren't really emotions.
So
honestly,
sorry, Dan, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, maybe what Pete Docter was saying when he was talking about a movie with something that appeals to everyone, was that it appeals directly to him, because it seems like nostalgia is a big part of it. And he's like, man, I wish I could go back to the day of 1995 when we were just making Toy Stories and everyone liked us, instead of now when we make Lightyear. Maybe that's what he thought about it.
It could be it. You might be onto something.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we'll discover how this works when we see the movie, but does it work that so you have your 5 emotions, it's your starter pack, and then you get all these other ones, but then do you lose those? Because when we see inside the adults' heads at the end of Inside Out 2, it's just those 5.
Like I
that
said,
seems like the 5 core emotions.
and I think we'll find out in Inside Out 3 that the adults are heavily medicated, and
They kill
those
everything
emotions
else.
have been killed by the pills or whatever. Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to see another Riley.
Yeah,
So.
the third Inside
Yeah.
Out is basically Judge Dredd as the antidepressants come in.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know what the other emotions are, but I know one of them is nervous or something. Oh, wait, no, that was in the other one.
anxiety, shame, envy, and ennui, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Oh God.
So that's, antidepressants, Ozempic, and fucking, I don't know, alcohol, maybe? Could probably be the main villains of the next one. They could get some of the other emotions, too. They could get sadness and fear while they're at it, and then they'll just be happy. Yeah. We'll do that one next week, so everybody go see it or
Awesome.
not, whatever. Do you have anything to plug, DJ?
Yeah. I think I said this last time, but yeah, we have our latest Roses and Rejections where we cover the first half of Perfect Match season 2, which I've very much been liking. I know I mentioned that last week on the pod. And then I think Michelle's on another Pop Break podcast that recorded but didn't come out yet. I guess I'll mention that next week. But yeah, check out Roses and Rejections and all the Pop Break stuff that we do. Diggins, I know you have something to recommend to the people.
Yeah, I already said my recommendation.
Sorry, that you have a thing to plug to the people.
Do I, DJ?
You do, because it popped. I saw the notification and I beamed with glee. This is the thing I meant to say earlier that I forgot like 3 hours ago.
I saw the notification and I was like, did Diggins write me an email about why there's like Fallout? Because I said I liked it. Because it comes from Chris Diggins or something like that. And I was like, yeah, okay, I guess. That's kind of what it is, so everybody can enjoy that themselves.
I kind of did. I just also wrote it for a few hundred other people.
Yeah, it's fair.
That's exaggerating, for a couple hundred other people.
Yes,
no, I for the first time in a long time wrote something for my Substack, A Little Perspective, about the Fallout show and why I didn't particularly care for it. I don't think I do think it's bad, but I don't think it's like a horrible show that I don't understand why anyone likes, but it has a lot of like little things that add up to me thinking it doesn't really work. So you can check that out at alittleperspective.substack.com if you're interested. Read it. Tell me why you like it. Tell me why you hate it. I live on validation.
I demand more, Diggins. I cannot tell you how happy I was when that notification popped onto my phone. I saw A Little Perspective. I'm like, he's back! He's back! I was very excited.
All right. Well, we'll see. I am a piece of shit, so. What about you, Nando? Anything to plug?
I think I had like a couple of videos that are like the Nando Cup videos. Like I would guess at 1 or 2 Marvel Snap ones about like Makari and the other Eternals, but no big videos since then. So, I really don't think anything. Yeah, new videos will be out soon eventually, but they're not yet. So keep your eyes peeled, everybody. But we'll talk about that next week. Oh, and also I meant to say this because people probably don't do this, or not like people don't, but some people probably don't do this. I've updated the show notes with links. So if you want to look at the things we recommended or the things we're plugging, those links are there, which you should go to them, and sign up for newsletters and subscribe to channels and stuff like that. I think this would go on everybody's podcast thing, but it definitely goes on mine. So, and until next week when we'll be doing Inside Out, I've been at Nando View Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Woo!